Change is the only constant. This is true in the dynamic world that we live in. More radical than the advancement in technology, there has been a huge shift in knowledge and attitude of human resource management. There has appeared a huge gap between expectations of talent acquisition and the offering of the new aspirants. It is to bridge this gap that a deeper understanding is required to make the students industry ready. This HR Conclave is part of this endeavor. Aptly titled Ace of Industries in Rapidly Changing Environment, this e-conclave is a platform for corporate thought leaders from diverse backgrounds to come together to interact and communicate their thoughts on the ever-evolving pace of the human resource industry. Good afternoon to everyone present here. I am Jasmine Stephen, and on behalf of the whole family at Teerthanker Mahaveer University, I welcome you all to this EHR Conclave. Before the launch, let me first acknowledge the presence of some of our eminent guests. We have here with us our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Raghuveer Singh, our Honorable Registrar, Dr. Aditya Sharma, and Associate Dean Academic, Dr. Manjula Jain. We also have with us our keynote speakers, Mr. Amulya Saab, CHRO of Team Computers, Mr. Alvin David, General Manager HRD of Newgen Software Technologies Limited, Mr. V. Sujit Kumar, Business Head and General Manager of Mercantile Information and Telecommunication Technologies, Ms. Meenakshi Khera, General Manager HR of Predex Technology, and Ms. Divya Dang, HR Head of Cloud Analogy. I would also further like to welcome our Director of CRC, Mr. Vineet Mehra, Director CTLD, Professor R.N. Krishnia, all our other directors, principals, various heads, faculty members, students, and other participants joining us today. Welcome all. Light symbolizes brightness, prosperity, and knowledge. So let's start this conclave with the traditional auspicious lighting of the lamp, albeit digitally. I request you all to join us for the lighting of the lamp. We will be having the digital lighting of the lamp in some time. I request all of you to kindly wait. Also traditional for us to seek the blessings of the divine to make our endeavors prosperous. Let us join in reverence for Saraswati Vandana while seeking the divinity for wisdom, knowledge, and learning. Let us now bow our heads in holy dedication. Herbert Spencer once said, the great aim of education. I apologize for the technical glitch. Let's proceed. Herbert Spencer once said, the great aim of education is not just knowledge but action. I would like to invite for the welcome address the one whose actions have resulted in this conclave, Mr. Vineet Nehra, Director, Corporate Relations Center of Teerthanker Mahaveer University. Sir, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and a warm welcome. Today's event is organized with an intent of active and interactive learning. On this memorable occasion of virtual HR Conclave, first of all, I heartily welcome again Professor Raghuveer Singh, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Teerthanker Mahaveer University, Dr. Aditya Kumar Sharma, Registrar TMU, Professor Manjula Jain, Associate Dean Academics TMU. We have Dr. R.N. Krishna, Director CTLD TMU, respected principals of all colleges, esteemed guests, and dear students. I, Vineet Nehra, Corporate Resource Center TMU, and host of the event, feel immense proud to welcome you all for Virtual HR Conclave 2022. I cordially welcome all my esteemed dignitaries of corporate who have shared their precious time from their extremely busy schedule. I take privilege to introduce our speaker in the house, Mr. Amulya Shah, HRO, others. We have Mr. Alvin David, General Manager, HR Fusion Software Technologies. We have Mr. Sri Kumar, Business Head at GM from Versatile Information and Telecommunication Technologies, Dubai. We also have Ms. Minakshi Khera, General Manager, HR, Predix Technologies. We have Ms. Divya Dam, Head HR, Cloud Analogy. So we, the TMU family, welcome you all. Kindly enlighten our students and faculties with your enriched experience and wisdom. We also look forward to enhance our industry-academia relationship further to create a pool of budding students for the mutual benefits of our colleges and also for industries. We have also created TMU as a base hub for human resource for full campus recruitment drive within 100 kilometers area, so that we can invite companies at maximum number of colleges and students and participants. I hope we all will nourish by the words of our speaker. And now I request Ms. Jasmine Stephen to take program ahead. Over to you, Ms. Jasmine.
Thank you, sir. We are quite enthusiastic after hearing your words and we really look forward to the entire event. They say learning never exhausts the mind. So on the same lines, I would like to introduce one of the most energetic, dynamic, and constantly learning hungry person whose push for excellence has shaped Teerthanker Mahaveer University as never before. I would like to invite our registrar, Dr. Aditya Sharma, for his inaugural address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Jasmine. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Raghuveer Singh ji, Director CRC, Director CTLD, team members of CRC, our distinguished and eminent speakers for this HR conclave, principals, faculty members, and dear students. It is very heartening to see that the CRC has come up with this HR conclave in the virtual mode, and with the theme that how the business environment is changing, what all factors are there which are bringing the change here. So I'll not take much of the time of the speakers because we have the eminent speakers with us to share their experience, their knowledge with our students and faculty members. But I'll just would like to just focus on three things. So one about the role of the HR, another about the significance of the industry institution relations, and what all academics, what all researchers are doing here in the academics. So we know that we all have come across through this recent pandemic of COVID-19, which has taught us a lot of lessons. With everything disrupted, we found that the companies formed new ways to advance their business agility and speed by innovating new ways of working. Meanwhile, the pandemic also accelerated the uptake of digital solutions, be it for sales, marketing, or finance, or to source, recruit, and manage talents. In such a scenario, the role of HR team is more vital than ever before. We observe new trends in the human resources space that might change how we function forever. From this unique position, it is for the HR to design the course of the future by finding unique solutions. Solutions that will not only benefit the organization, but will also keep the employees motivated. That is because HR professionals now have the responsibility to lead the organizations through this crisis by leveling up the collective resilience of employees. After all, it is the people who make an organization. Now, moving on to the next part of my talk, my views is about why we are doing this event. The objective of these events like this is to set the platform for strengthening the industry-institution relations. Most academicians and industry frontliners are on the same page when it comes to collaboration. The benefits are numerous via the enhancement of research and innovation through joint research projects, delivery of innovative commercial products, improvements in teaching, learning, and enrichment of students' knowledge and their employability, as well as providing new streams of funding to tertiary institutions. Most universities have, like ours, in our case also, we have formalized collaboration with the industry in the areas of curriculum development. If you talk about TMU, we are in collaboration with TCS, we are in collaboration with IBM, we are in collaboration with Safe Educate Express, with many other organizations like Apple and Google also, which are putting their inputs and giving their feedback in designing the curriculum for various programs, may it be computer science or may it be engineering, other branches of engineering or management studies. So this is how, with the help of these collaborations, with the formalization of these collaborations, the universities are getting the benefit in the areas of curriculum development, teaching, learning, research and development, and even consultancy, as well as securing suitable industrial placements for students as part and parcel of this collaboration. But even then, why there is a need to organize such events? My personal experience, based upon my what I have observed over these years in the educational institutions, I found that even then, despite of all collaborations, there has been a mismatch of skills, which are of the skills required by the industry. And this has always been the root of unemployment. And that is a reason that despite of the number of professionals we are producing, very less number of students are getting really employed, or are in true sense are really employable. So there is we need to understand and realize the importance of this academic industry linkage for academic engagement via curriculum, via lectures, via internships. It has to be a very active collaboration. It has to be very interactive and active relation. And when it so we at TMU strongly believe that through industry collaboration, together with various initiatives and human resource development tools, we will be in good stead to usher in the future and ensure that future digital talents are ready to take the region forward. The formation of industry academic partnership will foster close relationship with the industry and community, and this is what we believe. Through this exercise, students gain more insight from top industry players in the market, which strengthens their skills and knowledge before they enter the workplace. Most universities require students to complete their internship in the final year, undoubtedly a way for them to test the waters for the work environment. Collaboration with the work industry will allow undergraduates to be exposed to real case studies and latest industry insights, attend lectures, and get training assistance from educational purposes as well as internship opportunities. All we need to do is to review the performance, we need to review the practical content, and we need to review the approaches and look into the challenges that can be shared with the industry partners so that further planning can be mapped out for a better future and industry-ready graduates. With this, I hope that this event is going to set a platform to take our relationship with the industry to a next level. And I congratulate the entire team of CRC, Mr. Vineet Nehra, Mr. Akash Bhatnagar, Mr. Vikram Rana, the principals, faculty members, that they are putting a lot of efforts in collaborating with the industry and making and engaging their team with the industry. And I am also very much thankful to the industry that they are also equally reciprocating to our needs, our expectations, our requirements. So big thanks to all the members. Thank you. Thank you. And I congratulate again the entire team. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so
We
much.
are quite energized
Thank you so much,
after hearing your fervent words. And I think the real awe and awesomeness of TMU can only be felt not just after hearing such wonderful praises about TMU from sir, but yes, visiting TMU itself. Since we would not be able to do that today, visit physically, I would now like to invite you all for a virtual tour of the university.
One 144 kilometers from Delhi, in the town of Moradabad, lies the sprawling campus of the Teerthanker Mahaveer University.
TMU is one of the best private universities in India, especially in UP area.
The university was born out of one man's vision to offer quality education that would unlock the potential of India's youth. Suresh Jain, the founder, chairman and chancellor of TMU, chose his hometown Moradabad for this grand endeavor.
हम लोग बच्चों को जब यहाँ पे एडमिट ले करते हैं तो उनके माँ बाप को ये कहते हैं कि हम अगर आपके बच्चे ने हमें सहयोग दिया तो हम आपको एक अच्छा डॉक्टर देंगे, एक अच्छा मैनेजर देंगे, एक अच्छा इंजीनियर देंगे, एक अच्छा फार्मासिस्ट देंगे। 5 साल 4 साल जितने दिन भी बच्चा हमारे पास रहेगा। इसके अलावा हम एक वायदा और भी करते हैं कि आपके बच्चे को हम प्रयास करेंगे कि हम आपको एक अच्छा इंसान भी वापस कर सकें।
The university's impact on the society can be seen most at the TMU Medical College and Research Center. This center has a teaching hospital attached to it that can deal with emergencies and treat complicated medical cases.
All high-tech equipments like MRI, CT scan, cath lab, they are handled by postgraduate students, and undergraduate students have hands-on training on that equipment. The high-tech equipments have been acquired right from the beginning, and we have a good infrastructure and supporting facilities are good, and therefore this differs from the other universities.
The hospital does not forget its duties to the society. It provides free food to all its patients, and no charges are levied to those admitted to the general ward. TMU also operates a state-of-the-art dental college and research center, whose curriculum is approved by the Dental Council of India. Our focus is on training dentists who are technically sound and possess good communication skills. To that end, the college houses a dental materials museum that has an invaluable collection of fabricated models and materials used in dentistry. TMU also recognizes the need for paramedical and allied medical staff in India. That's why we have established the College of Nursing, College of Pharmacy, College of Paramedical Sciences, and College of Physiotherapy at our campus. Each of these colleges is equipped with infrastructure to support the teaching. And apart from full-time faculty, we also employ professionals from the field to teach the students, exposing them to the practical aspects of operating in the industry. The university has also tied up with hospitals in Delhi and other metropolitan areas in the country to provide rigorous field training to students. A fully functional hospital, along with research and training centers in medical and allied fields, has created an ecosystem where students get exposed to various branches, creating connections that were thought impossible. This is a philosophy that applies not only to the medical colleges, but to all the colleges and departments that are part of TMU.
एटमॉस्फेयर यहाँ का काफ़ी अच्छा है, स्टूडेंट्स बहुत कोऑपरेटिव हैं, इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट हैं, इसलिए हमें ज़्यादा इंटरेक्शन का मौका मिलता है। अलग अलग स्टेट से लोग हैं तो उनसे बात करके वहाँ का कल्चर डेवलप होता है, हमें माइंड में पता चलता है कि इंडिया किस तरह का है और यहाँ पे काफ़ी अच्छा इंटरेक्टिव एटमॉस्फेयर है।
The enthusiasm and energy of the students is given direction by TMU's professional faculty, who give personal attention to each student, helping them give their best to education.
TMU में एजुकेशन काफ़ी अच्छी है, कोर्स फैकल्टीज़ यहाँ के काफ़ी अच्छे हैं और वो स्टूडेंट्स एकदम स्टूडेंट के लेवल पर आके पढ़ाते हैं और हमारे सारे क्वेरीज को अटेंड करते हैं।
Such robust training gives students the tools and capability to secure their future. This is especially important since the university is located in an economically backward area of the country. TMU offers full support to such students by encouraging them to study, offering scholarships and extending various amenities. We even run a bus service in a 100-kilometer radius to facilitate students to travel to the college. TMU today offers over 100 courses, catering to thousands of students per year. But its journey began with one college, Teerthanker Mahaveer Institute of Management and Technology. Established in 2000, this institute has laid emphasis on industry interface and hands-on training to prepare students for their professional life. We take a case study-based approach to teaching. We encourage them to debate, discuss, and make presentations in smart classrooms.
In teaching, we basically focused on the case studies, and the case studies are from the Indian background. Most of the B schools are teaching case studies from the international level.
Students are also encouraged to step out into the real world to attend conferences, Indian and international. We also push them to study the local industry in and around Moradabad so that they have greater employment opportunities. Management training is about preparing students to readily take up roles in corporate companies. This can be achieved by tailoring courses as per industry requirements. Another stream of education that needs a strong practical foundation is engineering. TMU's College of Engineering is equipped with state-of-the-art labs that provide a firm practical grounding to our students. Our 64 workshops and labs impart hands-on training to the engineers of the future. Along with this, industry visits are a vital part of our curriculum. To help students develop critical reasoning skills, we have developed an extensive library network. The Central University Library and Departmental Library nurture the students' innate quest for knowledge.
Our library is quite large here, quite huge library. So many kinds of books are present here, and we can easily get our matter related to every topic here.
To further encourage reading, TMU has established reading rooms in various hostels. The library has also hired research assistants who help students conduct their research at the library, whether it is via physical books and journals or e-books and e-journals. The college has invested in developing world-class indoor and outdoor sports infrastructure. The College of Physical Education makes full use of the facility to train students in the field of coaching as well as to organize sports activities. Students from all streams are encouraged to take up a sport of their choice, whether it is basketball, badminton or cricket. The university also organizes several zonal, state and national level tournaments. playing a small role in raising the level of Indian sports in general.
Here we have international standard cricket ground. Number of national level tournament we already organized, and the events are really very successful.
पढ़ाई के साथ साथ खेल कूद को भी काफ़ी बढ़ावा दिया जाता है। बराबर अंतराल पे कोई ना कोई इवेंट होते रहता है, नेशनल इवेंट्स होते हैं, जैसे कि कैरम चैम्पियनशिप, वॉलीबॉल चैम्पियनशिप।
We also enrich students' learning by consciously developing a diverse body of students. Because of its location, TMU attracts students from other countries as well, such as Maldives, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan and Nigeria.
We have offered scholarship to Bhutanese students with the objective of bringing them here, because in most of their endeavor of growth, India as a country is helping Bhutan, and we thought it is imperative on our part to really extend that particular benefit to those students, bringing them to campus and provide them education.
I got a scholarship over here, and I've heard that TMU is one of the best private universities in India. Facilities in TMU is really good.
It is TMU's endeavor to give shape to the aspirations of students from India and abroad.
It's a one step further for me being a photojournalist. It has gotten me closer to my dreams in terms of interactions with different kind of people.
TMU has been successful in creating the future professionals of the country.
Teerthanker Mahaveer University, the ultimate destination for world-class education.
It was a really awe-inspiring video to have a virtual tour of the amazing university that is Teerthanker Mahaveer University. Nelson Mandela once said, "Education is the weapon which would change the world." I would like to introduce now a pioneering cornerstone who has a passion for education and a passion for upgrading change through education and in education. I would now like to invite our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Raghuveer Singh, for his inaugural address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here on this wonderful seminar. I'm happy to acknowledge the presence of a good number of HR stalwarts from very prominent industrial houses. I also like to congratulate Director CRC, Director CTLD for organizing this very prominent, relevant, and highly educative webinar today. Ladies and gentlemen, the kind of disruption which we have gone through for last 2 years have had great ramifications on various aspects of our life in general, and specifically on numerous aspects of operations of business, be it supply chain, be it people, technology, etc., etc. And during the same period, we have seen a huge rush of educational technology, especially very relevant to us, and also relevant to corporate, because the corporate training could be facilitated using this particular technology. We would be more willing to today understand and know from our corporate fellows that how are they dealing and how have they dealt with this disruption for last 2 years. We have seen a resignation rush across the world. How are they coping up? Because we as a university have also faced similar situations, and we are likely to face the situations in the future also. Since the technology has helped us quite a lot in continuing our education, we would like to leverage this technology in the future as well. So we'll also like to hear from our brothers that how are they using technology for continuing their operations, and how are they helping their workforce in order to cope up with stress which they probably have felt in the past or they might like to feel in the future. Simple reason is, the way operations were done in the past probably may not continue in the future. Hence, there has to be an arrangement using, of course, leveraging the technology, and at the same time, enhancing the productivity of the corporate would be underlined in the coming years. And that's what I feel like. And we would also like to understand from them how had they managed to assess the performance of their workforce during this particular time period. What are the kinds of tools and techniques they are most likely to use in the future as well? So that will be a great learning for us to know from each one of them what kind of modifications, changes, and how have they facilitated performance during this period as well as in the future, how are they going to do it? Another important change which we like to see is that, the application of technology, not only in the industry, but for institutions like us. At the extent cloud which is being used today and which would continue to increase in the future, for us, what are those various opportunities? Whatever we see today is hosting most of our data on the cloud would save us quite a lot of time and money. And also, most of our certificates and degrees are to be basically hosted on the cloud, and verifications how to happen online rather than making a physical verification, which could be very tedious for the students in the future, because that is the kind of a trend which is happening in large number of universities, not only abroad, but even in our country. And the another important thing which I like to understand is how are they going to source their manpower requirement, and what kind of tools and techniques they intend to use for selecting students using remote techniques, because one of the most important things which is very difficult to be found during this period is to assess is the individual's attitude. And in my mind, attitude matters most when you actually recruit a person, because skill can be learned. So these are some of those aspects, during disruptions of last 2 years have been affected largely, and they would continue to pose a lot of challenges for us in future. I'm sure we would get answers to all these challenges which we are facing from each of the HR stalwarts which are been so generous to be here and helping us to spread their strategies related to HR and operations. And I wish all the best to this successful conduct of the webinar. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. We are quite looking forward to your passion for learning to be instilled in us. We have been quite inspired by your passion, and we definitely are looking forward to hearing from our keynote speaker. With our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, declaring this inaugural address, we would now be moving on to listening from our keynote speakers. For the participants, I would like to mention that if you have any questions during the address, kindly write it in the chat box, and we will try to include it in the question and answer session after each address. Our first keynote speaker is Mr. Amulya Saab, CHRO of Team Computers. He will be addressing the topic Future of Cloud and Remote Process Automation. Mr. Amulya Saab is a result-oriented HR leader with over 23 years of experience in setting up new businesses, teams, offices, and supporting multiple businesses in multiple geographical locations like India, Malaysia, Singapore, Australia, Dubai, and many more. He is a change agent with strong track record in scaling businesses and supporting organizational restructuring and growth. He has worked in organizations like Samsung, HCL, and Birlasoft. He has this gift with words that can mesmerize people and can make them see things more positively. He is multi-talented, great administrator, and top entertainer who always remains at the center of the gathering for his witty insights. He can be called as a high-energy, passionate, and natural HR leader. I would now like to hand over the time to Mr. Amulya Shah. Over to you, sir.
Hi, good afternoon. Namaskar and Sat Sri Akal. Like Jasmine, I think last 3-4 lines you added on your own, or when he told you to add, huh?
No, sir. We definitely heard it from your inputs that have been spoken about from people who have worked with you. So I'm sure that is absolutely true.
Right. So the world is opening. So I thought it would have been nice that I visited TMU. So many times I have passed TMU and going to Moradabad or Chandausi and all where some relatives live, but I haven't got a chance to visit. And then suddenly I got to know that Vineet has joined TMU and he invited me, so I couldn't say no. Right, Vineet? So I hope everybody is agile. It's a Saturday.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. You always been a good support and you always been there whenever I called you for any of my event. Thank you so much for having you here, sir.
तो ऐसा है ना, उम्र के उस पड़ाव में आ चुके हैं हम जहां पे अब ये जो है to give it back to the society is what is left. Okay, so almost 24 years done in corporate, and next 2 years, and I think I'll bid goodbye to corporate to just give it back to the society and interact with the kids, because that's where I think my happiness lies. So very soon you will hear from me that I have hung my boot in corporate world, and I'm here to serve the society and give it back to the society. So thank you so very much, Vineet and TMU management for calling me here virtually. And very soon, I think the world is opening up. We'll meet in person as well, right?
Sure, sir. Sure. Pleasure to have you here, sir.
So this is the first time you were asking an HR guy to talk on technology, cloud. So I was thinking what to start with. So मैंने बोला यार दिल्ली में तो अभी सबको cloud का इंतजार है. Everybody is looking for cloud because it's 42.5 degree Celsius here in Delhi, right? And it's become part of all the people who are looking for digital transformation. So all the guys there, I was very impressed with it, and all the members of the management of TMU, looking at what infrastructure you have and what kind of students you are attracting. And उससे भी proud moment ये था कि आपके chancellor साहब ने, vice chancellor और chancellor साहब ने हिंदी में बात की, कुछ बच्चों ने भी हिंदी में बात की, because ये लोग छोड़ते जा रहे हैं, सोचते हैं कि भाई इंग्लिश में बात करेंगे तभी हमारी पहचान होगी. But look at all those people who are at the forefront in the global technology space, चाहे Google हो, चाहे Microsoft हो, चाहे जो भी आप बात कर लो, आज के डेट में Indians are there. So English is not native to us. We always think in Hindi and then speak in English. So एक तो चीज यही बोलूंगा कि कभी आप लोग कतराइएगा मत, because sometimes आप रह जाते हो, you have very good ideas, but only because you think that your English is poor, you are unable to talk to your management, you talk to your people and all. So don't hesitate. We are Indians and be proud that you're an Indian. If you have an idea, just talk about it. So what I've done is quickly I'll take you through my small presentation that I've put in 4 or 5 slides. So I'm going to share my screen and you just say that you can see that. Okay, you can see my screen now, a blue screen. Hello, can you see my screen?
No, sir.
Not yet, sir. No, not yet.
You can't see. You can't. I share.
We are just visualizing you, sir, not your screen.
Okay, maybe now you will be able
Yes,
to see.
it is now. Yes, it is now.
Okay,
Yeah, visible now.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So I've just started. I've just put something which represents a digital cloud. Okay, so it's a very interesting story. Cloud is everywhere. Cloud is the next thing which is happening. A lot of people have adopted. Any organization which is looking for a digital transformation cannot say no. ठीक है ना, ये बिल्कुल ही आप सोच लीजिए ऑक्सीजन और पानी के जैसे हो गया है for human beings. So organization के लिए cloud is the only way out. And if you see what AWS or Microsoft or Google have done with the advances that they have made, everybody will have to adopt. And the biggest learning for many organizations, you see in last 2 years, where people were keeping their own servers and storage and all and not using it, and all the money that they had put in had gone futile, because people are working from anywhere, and all these people who are there to hack your servers and storage are also very, very active. Okay, so that is why it's of prime importance that everybody moves to cloud. But not many of you know actually what cloud is and what happens. कभी भी कोई नया चीज इंट्रोड्यूस करो ना, तो आजकल तो डिजिटल जमाना है, तो आप देखोगे कि मीम स्टार्ट हो जाते हैं. सो आई वाज ट्राइंग टू सी कि भाई क्लाउड आने से पहले क्या क्या किस तरह के लोग बोलते थे. सो ये आप छोटा 2-3 मैंने बड़े प्यारे से पिक्चर और उसमें कुछ लिखा हुआ है. क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग, द नानी सेज कंप्यूटर्स कैन फ्लाई नाउ. That's how people imagine. And you look here. So this is a weather guy, and he says it's looking good for the weekend with plenty of cloud apps coming from the east. Obviously, it came from the west. And here is the killer one. You are pretty new to cloud storage, aren't you? So sometimes people can be very, very naive, and if you ask them, they really don't know what cloud is. So just let's go back and trace the history of cloud. So it started 1969. Not many people know. People think, yaar, ये तो अभी आया है. So it's all about J.C. Licklider, who was responsible for the development of ARPANET in 1969. And of course, commercially, it started in 1999 when the web services came in, and we had all .com bursts and all. And of course, the quick one to lap on was Amazon. And Amazon is just great. What Jeff Bezos has done in the business and what he's doing with cloud is going to overtake in big time. समझ में नहीं आता वो क्या सोच रहा है, क्या करने वाला है. और मतलब there's an example my boss told me कि कोई बड़ा अच्छा सा इवेंट में गए हुए थे, and there were a lot of businessmen there, and there was a guy who was a traditional businessman dealing with cement. तो उनसे वो बात कर रहे थे कि भाई आप लोगों ने क्या ये लिया है कि क्लाउड पे आप काम करते हो, आपके पास .com है. उनको तो कुछ हवा ही नहीं था. तो उनसे उन्होंने बोला कि आप ये सोचो कि अगर Amazon सीमेंट बेचने लगे तो क्या होगा. So you will be dead. Okay, that's the speed at which Amazon is working, at which technology is moving, and at which people have to adopt technology, and more so the cloud. Okay, so I will explain. I know there are a lot of intelligent people around there, millennials, who are glued and they know what cloud is. To make it very, very simple, on the right side, you see there are all the services. We talk about private cloud, public cloud, hybrid, and multi-cloud. Okay. Simply explain, private है कि जो आपका है उसमें और कोई इंटरवीन नहीं कर सकता. पब्लिक है कि बाहर होस्टेड है, उसमें और भी कंपनीज उसको यूज करती हैं. एक ही सर्वर को डिवाइड कर दिया जाता है खानों में, so that they can use. And then you have something which is very critical to you. You keep public and you keep private, and then you for the normal stuff you take the public cloud. And then maybe if you are not very happy with AWS or GCP or Microsoft Azure, you go for a multi-cloud approach. Okay, so you can take whatever is best there. And there are three types of services people talk about in cloud: the SaaS, the PaaS, and the IaaS, infrastructure as service, platform as service, and software as service. So very simply said, software as service is like if you're using Google Gmail, where everything is maintained by Gmail. आपको इंस्टॉल करना है, उसको यूज करना है. उसके पीछे क्या चल रहा है, क्या पैचेस है, क्या मेंटेनेंस है, वो सब का सब जो है गूगल उसको देखता है. आप कंज्यूम करते हो और आप उसका पैसा देते हो. एंड द सेकंड वन इज प्लेटफॉर्म एज अ सर्विस. सो प्लेटफॉर्म एज सर्विस इज लाइक से गूगल ऐप. आपने कोई उसका गूगल का ऐप यूज किया या माइक्रोसॉफ्ट अज्योर का कुछ ऐप यूज किया और उसका वो प्लेटफॉर्म यूज किया और उसके लिए आप पैसा देते हो. एंड देन दी थर्ड वन इज इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सर्विस, कि जहां पे आप अपना डिजाइन कर सकते हो. आपको इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर मिला हुआ है, उसमें क्या एप्लीकेशन होगा, क्या लेयर होगा, क्या वर्चुअलाइजेशन होगा, ये सब डिसाइड करते हो. To simply put it for students, everybody eats pizza, right? Everybody goes to either Pizza Hut or Domino's. So जब आप घर में बैठ के ना मंगाते हो एक पिज्जा, उसको बोलते हैं सॉफ्टवेयर एज अ सर्विस. आपने ऑर्डर किया, आपके पास आया, वो बंदा पहुंचा के चला गया, आपने कंज्यूम कर लिया, पैसे दे दिए. ओके. The platform as a service is when you actually go and visit the Domino's or Pizza Hut and you order the pizza that you like and you pay for it. But the third one is very interesting when we're talking about infrastructure as a service, that you visit a place where there is a complete infrastructure to make a pizza. So what you do is you actually take all the grub. आपने उसका बेस लिया, आपने उसके सॉसेस लिए, उसमें आपको जो भी चीज डालना है, उसमें जो भी टॉपिंग्स डालना है, आप टॉपिंग उसको डाल के और उसको आप अपने लिए अपने तरीके से वो पिज्जा को बनाते हो. So very simply and aptly put, this is how you can understand SaaS, PaaS, and infrastructure as a service. Okay. So very important when you talk about cloud, कि भाई cloud क्यों ले कोई organization और कैसे हम we can win. So these are some of the things that is very important for any partner. मतलब जैसे आप स्टूडेंट हो, आप कौन सा कॉलेज चूज करोगे जहां से आप निकलोगे तो आपको नौकरी मिल जाए, आप एक अच्छा ह्यूमन बीइंग हो, आप एक अच्छा प्रोफेशनल हो. उसी तरह क्लाउड में भी है कि बहुत सारे क्लाउड पार्टनर है. ऑब्वियसली द थ्री फेमस आर AWS और गूगल, GCP और माइक्रोसॉफ्ट Azure, बट अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट देयर other partners also. IBM also tried, but they failed miserably. So very important is to select the right partner. As you know, for all the people who are married here, how important is having a right partner who balances, who ensures that together you win. Aajkal, because the servers and storages are growing और terabytes और उसके बाद भी जितने भी bytes आप बोल दो उस पे काम हो रहा है across the globe, उससे कार्बन फुटप्रिंट्स बहुत बढ़ रहे हैं. सो जो अच्छे वाले ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं who are ahead in the race of cloud adoption and all, they are looking at carbon intelligent cloud platform. I don't know how many of you know about it, but I was actually very impressed that big organizations are actually, AWS themselves are actually using, because when you have servers and storages in large numbers, we are talking about thousands and thousands of them hosting the applications for different companies across the globe. You know, they emit heat and other things, and they have to kept cool. So it's very important that when you are adopting, you look at who is the partner who is also carbon friendly, and they're thinking about the future. AI-based cloud, why it is important, of course, is to see कि आप कितना यूज करोगे, नहीं करोगे, स्केलेबिलिटी है, नहीं है, और उसी हिसाब से आपको पता है कि भाई आपको इतना जरूरत है, इतना पे करना है और कैसे करना है. And of course, open source, so that there's no monopoly of any cloud suppliers. So there are a couple those people who give cloud services, and the hybrid solutions where you have open source, we have private, public, and multi clouds. And this is set to grow by $97 billion this year. 97 billion. Okay. So you can understand why sometimes you feel कि Amazon तो बस यही सब बेचते रहता है, but उसकी जो वैल्यू है इतनी कहाँ से चली गई है. So this is why things are going north for Amazon. Okay. Quickly, I'll just talk about the pros and cons. जब ये स्टार्ट हुआ था तो बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट था लोग क्यों अडॉप्ट किए क्लाउड को, बिकॉज दे हैड टू बाय देयर ओन सर्वर्स एंड स्टोरेज, व्हिच इज कॉस्टली. कॉस्ट वाज ऑफ कोर्स द मेन. ये फिर उसका मेंटेनेंस, आदमी रखो, एसी रखो, लाइट रखो 24/7, 36 days in a year. So one of the best thing to adopt was that it said goodbye to costly systems. Okay, most of the organization, if you read now, they have servers, 50 servers, 25, 100, जिसका 30%, 40% भी यूज नहीं होता है. एंड CIOs अपने ग्लोरी में बैठे रहते हैं. जब बात करोगे ट्रेडिशनल CIO से तो जैसे कि यार वी हैव 100 servers, you know, we have 250 servers, but कितना यूटिलाइजेशन हो रहा है, they are not got into it. But the millennial CIOs, they are pretty smart, so they are saying, boss, let's talk about how much we are using, so that if the capacity is not 80% above, then there's no use of keeping those servers and storage. Okay. Access from infinite options. So the hybrid has told us कि आप कहीं भी रहिए, इंडिया में, फॉरेन में, कहीं भी, you can just host all your applications where people can latch on and work from everywhere. Okay. One point of source of truth, which is that data centralization. सारे के सारे डेटा आपको एक जगह मिलेंगे. Data recovery is fast. Sharing capabilities, cloud security. This is one thing which is misused by most of the organization. हम भी यही करते हैं. हम अपना कितना डेटा मोबाइल में ओपन रखते हैं, कितना डेटा हम लोग अपने लैपटॉप पे ओपन रखते हैं. बट नाउ यू सी फीचर्स इन एप्पल फोन एंड ऑल दी टॉप नॉच फोन्स एंड ऑल दी एप्लीकेशंस दैट यू हैव, चाहे वो कोई म्यूजिक ऐप हो, चाहे कोई आपका इंस्टाग्राम हो, ये सब ये आप सिक्योर कर सकते हो, बिकॉज दिस सर्विस प्रोवाइडर्स have all the data of the client. They are very strict on security, which otherwise जो अपने इंडिविजुअल चलाते हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस एंड ऑल, दे लैक्स, बिकॉज उसमें पैसा लगता है. And why? Because the cloud service providers are doing it for so many other companies and organizations. The economic of scale work actually towards positive side for them. See, the cost goes down. And the most important part is of course scalability. आपको जरूरत नहीं है आज के डेट में 5,000 आपके बंदे काम कर रहे हैं, आपने कुछ ले रखा है सर्विस, कल को आपने कुछ सोचा आपकी बिजनेस ठीक नहीं कर रही है, 3,000 लोग हो गए, यू कैन स्केल डाउन, ओके, एंड यू पे ओनली फॉर दी कंजम्पशंस दैट यू आर डूइंग. इट्स नॉट कि जैसे होता है ना, एक बड़ा कोई होटल में आप चले जाए, वहां पर आपको पता चलेगा 999 रुपए का थाली है, थाली आ गया और इतने सारे उसमें कटोरे, खाए आपने आधे ही, okay, and but you paid. So that is how the traditional business was run. But now you say, okay, वो थाली है, मेरे को ये 4 चीज चाहिए जो मुझे पसंद है, और ये एक नया चीज और है, इसका आप पैसा बता दो, 999 से 499 हो जाएगा. And you know, all the money saved actually goes into the net profit. And if you're listed, it makes a lot of sense to the shareholders. Okay, but then there are cons also. Okay, now when you're on cloud, हमारे जो प्रॉब्लम है इंडिया के अभी भी, दो वी आर 4G compliant and all those things, but remote places and other places and tier C, tier D towns also, we find there are a lot of net connection issues, low bandwidth, बोलेंगे कुछ देंगे कुछ. And cloud can only be successful when both of these actually are on high होते हैं, नेट कनेक्शन भी अच्छा हो और बैंडविड्थ भी अच्छा हो. लेकिन ये है कि अगर आपके लैपटॉप वगैरह में सिक्योरिटी नहीं है, फायरवॉल्स नहीं है, सो दैट इज अनदर थिंग दैट कैन बी अ प्रॉब्लमैटिक. एंड प्लस इफ योर सर्विस प्रोवाइडर इज नॉट गुड एंड दे डोंट हैव मेंटेनेंस एंड दोस पीपल हु कैन गेट बैक क्विकली, अगर आपको कोई एप्लीकेशन वगैरह डाउन हो गया, देन यू विल एक्चुअली हैव टू रिंग देम एंड से कि बॉस ये डाउन है, इसको ठीक करो. और अगर कोई भी चीज जो आईटी क्रिटिकल हो, चाहे बैंकिंग सिस्टम हो फॉर एग्जांपल, they cannot have downtime. Okay, so that can be a major cons where people can face problem when they are moving from the traditional approach to a cloud-based approach. Okay, what is future of cloud? I think everybody will have to adopt. As I said, everybody who wants to see their business growing, who wants to make a mark, who wants to increase their revenues, they have to go in the digital transformation way. And they will have to adopt the cloud technology. So if you see, cloud spending is going to increase by 21.7%. So that means all these companies like AWS and Azure and Google, they are going to be benefited exceptionally well. By 2026, public cloud spending will exceed 45% of all IT spending by an enterprise, and currently it is 17%. So we are talking about 28%, 28% more in next 4 years. Okay, and the final, of course, by next year, 60% of the companies will be using an external cloud providing service. Okay, so that is the essence of this technology called cloud. Everybody will have to adopt it, whether you are in business, IT business, non-IT business, FMCG, banking, manufacturing, or even education. Okay, even education is where you will have to let go of your physical servers, etc., and latch on to the cloud, because it's going to be beneficial in terms of the latest technology, security, as well as scaling and descaling, right? So cloud is here to stay, cloud is here to grow, and if there are people who are interested to get into it, there are a lot of certifications that you can do and get into the cloud. So at one time, 2000 Y2K was there, like things like .NET, Java was the future, and lot many people got benefited by it. And then of course came SAP, Oracle, etc. I think the need of the hour for next 4 to 5 years is cloud technology. Very easy to learn. So anybody who has slight inclination towards IT, it will be very easy for you to grab and latch on to this wave called cloud. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk about the cloud technology as a keynote speaker. So I also had to read my business. In Team Computers, we have a separate cloud business, and they are doing actually great. So that is where I learned. So all the very best, students, and thank you, TMU, once again for giving me this opportunity, and wish you all the success for this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amulya sir. We are really delighted and like to thank you for coming on this platform, and soon we will definitely expect your presence physically also in any which ways. And I would also come to meet you up in personal within this coming week.
Sure.
And it has always been so informative, all your discussion that we had earlier, that we want another 2-3 hours will be, we can say it's not enough to take away the informative content from your video. So it will be an honor to have you here, and we'll definitely collect it very soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Any questions I can answer? Or
yes, sir. Miss Jasmine will take the thing forward. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your input. So I guess I was actually right in saying that you had witty insights of, talking about the history and talking about PISA when explaining services. Thank you so much, sir. We have a question here from Mr. Harjinder Singh. Over to you, Harjinder, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Please proceed.
Yes. Actually, I just want to ask one question. That what IT industry expects from an engineering graduate in terms of talent?
सर देखिए आप थोड़ा भटक रहे हैं. सेमिनार तो क्लाउड और टेक्निकल है, बट ऑल आई कैन से इज we just look for a person who is willing to learn, willing to experiment, is energetic, is passionate. That's how I began my career some 24 years back, young from an MBA college. All I knew was whatever will be given to me, I'll do sincerely. Whatever new things that will come in my way, I will take it and I will add value. I cannot be just sitting idle and let the wind pass by. So that has been my mantra कि भैया कोई नया चीज है तो बताओ, क्योंकि आप देखो satiated हो जाते हो. अभी भी we see lot of people coming from very good institutes, but that hungry to learn, hungry to experiment, hungry to put that extra effort is not there. When we started our career, we used to work 6 days a week. But अभी के बच्चों को आप बोल दो कि यार सैटरडे को एक दिन आके काम करना है, तो उनको लगता है जैसे कि आप वो हो गया जी, अर्थक्वेक आ गया, पैर के नीचे जमीन खिसक गई. क्यों भैया? तो हमारा ये प्रोग्राम है, हम फ्रेंड के साथ यहाँ जा रहे हैं, हम फ्रेंड के साथ वहां जा रहे हैं. So I always tell them you get paid for 30 days. So if somebody is telling you to come on a Saturday, I don't think it's a big sin. So initial 10-15 years, if you have that knack to put that hard work and learn, I think that's where you make the kill and you become different than the other batchmate of yours.
One more question I would like to put, that one should more focus on coding or latest frameworks like this DevOps or Docker, Cloud, React Native.
Technology so will keep on changing. So right now we are talking about full stack, main stack, DevOps and cloud and all those things. So पहला चीज है, a student has to find out what he or she is good at. Is very, very important. If you don't like coding, don't get into coding. Otherwise, आपका career ज़्यादा चलेगा नहीं. Okay. So first is that if your CRC team, or if you have consultants or professors who can help make the students understand कि boss ये चीज तुम्हारे लिए अच्छा है, ये career अच्छा है, जहाँ पे आप enjoy करोगे, passionately करोगे, तो I think the guy does very well in his career, his or her career. rather than just following की जो भेड़ चाल होती है ना, उसमें आप घुस गए, सब कोई क्लाउड कर रहे हैं, सब कोई डेवऑप्स कर रहे हैं, तो मैं उसमें घुस जाऊं, मैं वो कर लूं. Right? It's not feasible. Everybody has its own strength. Everybody has its own weaknesses. People have left brain. People have right brain. People like technical. People like working in silos individually and do the coding. So if they like coding, yes, there are a team number of things. But the sad part is that technology will keep on changing. So टेक्नोलॉजी में आप जब रहिएगा तो आपको अपग्रेड करता रहना पड़ेगा. हर एक 5 साल 7 साल में यू विल गेट अ न्यू वेव ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी दैट यू विल हैव टू राइड. अगर आप ऑब्सोलीट हो गए, उसी में फंसे रहेंगे, आप ग्रो नहीं करेंगे. सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू कीप लुकिंग एट द ट्रेंड्स, look at what is coming in as a big tsunami wave, and before anybody latch on, learn DevOps, learn cloud, learn this, learn that 2 years in advance, 1.5 years in advance. For that, you'll have to keep on seeing the trends of technology, and there are many sites which can give that inkling to you कि boss कहाँ जा रहा है, और आप उसको सीखिए और करिए. So let the students decide. I think They are grown-ups. They are much blessed than what we were in terms of knowledge, in terms of connection, in terms of network, and in terms of being independent. So I think we are not blessed, but they are blessed. So I see my kids also, and I've left them. आप decide कर लो. But एक चीज बोलना चाहूँगा before I end, which is my favorite शायरी की मंजिलें यूं ही नहीं मिलती, एक जुनून सा जगाना पड़ता है. पूछा चिड़िया से कैसे बनाया घोंसला, तो बोली भरना पड़ता है उड़ान बार बार और तिनका उठाना पड़ता है. So for everybody in life, the hard work is the only way up. If you think you will have lift in the life, then I'm very sorry. So you are in fool's paradise.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was wonderful.
Was waiting for your shairi also.
Yeah. So when I come in person, I think I'll make it more interesting.
Yes,
but,
sir.
So let students live. I think what TMU has done in terms of infrastructure, library, 24/7, wireless, cricket, football, they have to become a complete professional and a complete human being. So they have to learn there 4-5 years, develop their character, develop their learnability, and be ready. So उससे ज़्यादा आप क्या कर सकते हैं? मतलब आप घोड़े को पानी के पास ले ही जा सकते हैं ना, पीना तो उनको ही पड़ेगा. So let them drink on their own.
बिल्कुल sir, true. Thank you sir. Thank you for having you here.
Thank you. Pleasure. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
So much, sir.
Bye.
So I'm really sorry. I apologize. We would not be able to take further questions for the speaker right now. We will be going on to our next keynote speaker. Our second keynote speaker is Mr. Alvin David. He's General Manager HRD of NewGen Software Technologies Limited. He will be addressing the topic, Architecting the Future of Work Landscape. Mr. Alvin David has his bachelor's in psychology and his master's with a specialization in industrial and organizational psychology with an executive education program from IIM Ahmedabad. He started off as a research investigator at Defense Institute of Psychological Research, went on to become a consultant at Center for Growth Alternatives, domain consultant at Liquid, and then joined NewGen as senior manager, progressing to deputy general manager, and now is general manager. He represents a professional who is able to fulfill an absolute key role in the organization. He has a very approachable personality. He listens to employees' concerns and works strategically to resolve the same at the earliest. So I would now like to welcome heartily Mr. David. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. Thank you, Dr. Raghuveer Singh ji. Thank you, Vineet, for inviting me here, and other dignitaries and faculties and the students of this TMU University. It's my pleasure to be part of this webinar. I will share my 2 cents on the topic that has been given to me. I hope I'll be able to make sense and add on to what is the topic of the day is. The topic that was given to me is architecting the future of work landscape. I'll share my take on it. We are in the future of work as of now. And are we ready or not? That is something that we need to think. As we all know, let me summarize our last 2 years. We all know positive has now become new negative. For past few months, past few months, we were not really happy that somebody turned positive, and it became a temporary reality. And what we really went through was something that really changed us forever. And nobody ever before us had gone through that. At least they were not alive till the time they haven't seen that. We have not interacted with that generation for sure. And I'm sure there are big challenges that are coming our way in terms of what the workforce and the world of work will look like in future. Do we have any clue? Do we know what really future holds for? I doubt. You all know, talking about 2 years back, having a conference like this on virtual space, we would not have even talked about it. We could have obviously considered it as a joke. But for last 2 years, I have personally attended and spoken at many conferences which were held, virtually only. So geography is new history, as such as they say. Are we going through an existential crisis? Yes, it appeared to be till few months back. And we're not sure what this new world of work and new world will look like. We are still transiting from it. So what's going to be the future of work will be? It's going to be hybrid workplace. We will be relying a lot more on technology. Let's see how, let's witness this through this that Amulya just spoke about. We have been connecting, we have been witnessing technologies like cloud and many other technologies. We have graduated and become comfortable. You and me are not only the ones, even my kid. And students who have been going through nursery and first or second are also being studying through this medium as such. So technology has become this pervasive at this point. And now we are moving towards a hybrid workplace. Can you see my screen, Vineet?
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible, sir.
Yeah. So you can see that, from remote and physical workplace, now we are entering into a space where it's both for 2 days, 3 days will probably work from anywhere. And then probably for 2 days or 3 days, we will work from our offices. And that's what future has probably changed forever. So what is it that we are about to get into? Gig economy, as they say, for everyone's reference, gig economy is nothing but, loosely speaking, they are freelancers, people who will be working for 2-3 clients or 2-3 organizations in a day. They will take a work on a assignment basis and then they'll deliver. Probably permanent employees will not be even spoken about in future. And every organization is actually looking forward to these new models, whether they like it or not, but this appears to be the future of work. So there's going to be permanent people, they're going to be temporary, and then we will also see the entry of machine employees. There are some of the things that will eventually can be taken care by machines. It will be so redundant, it will be so drudgery, it will be so mundane to work on those things that machine can purely take care of that. So we will be graduating even to those kind of environment as well. We'll be looking for more agile and organic teams. There'll be no functional team as such. You will be required to not be part of one section, if I can use your terminology as college. You'll probably keep shuffling section basis the classes or the subject that you will opt for. So automation and technology will take a leadership role, and then they'll be the one who will actually dictate things here. And the collaborative tools like the ones that we are connected through right now will be something that a lot of organizations will be investing in. And students will be assessed based on how comfortable are you using these tools as such. How comfortable are you in terms of leveraging the potential of technology? And technology will become an ABCD of what we talk of English today of the workspace. So that is how you and me would be comfortable. You and me have to be comfortable with technology. So the kind of job roles that will evolve, every role that will be there would be looked for a specialist. All-rounders probably will not be celebrated that much, but people who have specialized insights about a given role will be given more insight, because a lot of things that you and me do currently will be replaced by machines. Whether it is good or bad, that is an issue or a point of debate, but they will be soon replaced by machines. So you've got to be aware. Those who can learn, unlearn, and then relearn will be celebrated the most. So the question that Harjinder was asking in terms of the skills that you have to have will not really define you, but the attitude and your ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn will define your future as such. Can you shift from one technology to other? How long will you take that? To do that will define your future. The words like creativity, empathy, collaboration, and compassion. Mind you, students, those who are connected, are not mere words at this point in time. They have to be put into practice. The word curiosity has seen so much of an increase in the hiring dashboards or the scorecards of the organization, because curiosity will define your true potential. We are no more looking for the best of the institutes or the premier institutes, because probably we'll not be able to engage them that well. Will not be able to extract much out of them. We are looking for people who are hungry to do more. There are organizations who are investing and hiring who are dropouts of school. There are organizations who are investing in people who have backlogs. There are organizations who are investing in people who do not know English. There are organizations who are investing in people who have struggled to make a decent, education background, but they are hungry to do something. So those kind of things will take you places. Your percentages probably for coming few years may impress some hiring managers, but future will be very, very different. Gone are the days for crammers and rattobas in terms of they won't be able to find their niche until and unless you can really apply yourself and do something different. Hardcore data scientists, design and system roles would be much more celebrated in future. Pardon my background, I'm talking from the IT perspective, but I'm sure the things that we were talking about in other industries, those things wherein machines cannot be taking place, humans have to be very, very specialized in what they do. Otherwise, they can be easily replaced by a machine or some other tool. So I wanted to spend some time with you specifically, as Vinny told me, there'll be a lot of students here, in terms of how things are changing, how careers are changing, how priorities are changing. So everything will be moving from what we used to know to what we don't know. And we are still evolving. This is just a laundry list of things that are changing. We are shifting away from 9 to 5 hours. We will not really pay you for aap pure din office mein baith gaye. We won't pay you for that. Organizations in future will pay you for the assignments that you complete. And there'll be timelines to those assignments. So in-office work becomes a status symbol. Agar aap office mein kaam karo, वरना work from anywhere will take places. In our kind of scenario, agar aap Delhi jaisi jagah mein rehte ho, so you know the kind of travel, the kind of effort it takes to travel, the kind of time that one wastes in travel. And now when we have an alternative, organizations, trust me, are finding very hard to come up with an answer that why do I want you in office? And workplace will become more equitable for women. Women as such who used to take care of their family or nurturing their newborn, things like that, they will get a more equitable workplace, which is a very good thing to happen, because the way, specifically if I talk of technology, the way they have ventured into technology, the kind of application of knowledge that they're able to show in engineering side particularly, that has been a very, very impressive trend for specifically women students here. There'll be a lot of demand for digital skills. As I said, you be any student, even if you're a BA pass, or even if you are a doctor or any kind of thing, technology would be something that you cannot survive with. Technology will be that pervasive. You've got to be very, very friendly and very, very comfortable with technology, because that will define your workspace for future. So how are the workplaces going to look like? What one needs to do in terms of to be comfortable? As I said, we're really not clear in terms of what will change, but one needs to take charge of one's career. Organization will struggle to define that for you. Days of patriarchal institutions are over. It will become more of a flat organization. Are you comfortable working on your own? Can you really find it in yourself to push yourself to next level? Do only marks excite you, or the performance in the organization, the goals in the organization will define or derive you? You got to figure out your niche. And it will not be the length of the service that will define your experience. Pretty much we're all similar. You will be hired for the experience and the exposure that you have. A lot of organizations are appreciating the quality of work that you have produced rather than the length of experience that you have spent in that area. Are you an agile learner? Are you someone who can really learn up fast? Can you really challenge yourself and move from one place to the other in a very swift way? If that is you, then you will obviously go places. And one very important thing that all of you struggle, and the question that Harjinderji was also asking, we're not really looking for people who knows one technology or second technology or third technology. We are looking for people who can really learn technologies. So we know that you do not know all the answers, but do you know where to find answers? So those are the people that will be celebrated. It's not, I'm not talking of, go to Google and find answers. Can you be really persistent with your queries and curiosity and come out with answers and solutions that you can best figure out for yourself? So best version of yourself, not only the better, but become the best version of yourself. Emotional quotient and physical agility are the things of the future. And please, please, please learn and try and communicate better. When I say communicate, I know in corporate world, whenever we say his or her communication skills are not good, we end up misinterpreting as कि उसको अंग्रेजी बोलनी नहीं आती. No, it is not. It does not mean that way. हम बहुत time struggle करते हैं अपने आप को basically भी express करने में. Communication has nothing to do with the language that you use. आज जैसे आपके चांसलर सुरेश जैन जी ने हिंदी में बात करी, बहुत लोगों ने हिंदी में बात करी, but they were able to express. उनकी इंटेंट दिख रही थी कि उन्होंने ये TMU क्यों बनाया. So probably we need to really figure out, अगर आप हिंदी में भी बात करते हो या कोई भी भाषा में बात करते हो और आप अपनी भाषा के थ्रू ये बता सकते हो कि आपकी इंटेंट क्या है, आप क्या करना चाहते हो, क्या पाना चाहते हो, तो वो चीज हायरिंग मैनेजर को, वो चीज कंपनी को, वो आपके काम में दिखेगी. So language is not a barrier, but communication is a lot bigger thing than communicating only in English. So learn to communicate, learn to express yourself. Are you comfortable speaking in Hindi, or does that really put you in defense in terms of कि मेरे से तो English में बात ही नहीं होती है? नहीं, please challenge yourself. I think organizations are moving beyond that as well. Yes, the order of the day, our office language is English because we are a competitive nation. We would like to be a global leader. We would learn to use English, but we are as comfortable talking in English as comfortable talking in our mother languages. I think it's very, very important of how we do. This is all that I wanted to share. I'm open to the questions and answers. Those of you who were sleepy, please wake up. My presentation is over.
Sir, thank you very much for this really enlightening as well as practical approach of मेरे students को जिकाने के लिए और हम सबको motivate करने के लिए. I was just noting down everything carefully, learning and then relearning is the order of the day. Sir, हमें थोड़ा how these students can be more into learning, unlearning and then relearning kind of thing, so that they are more better kind of professionals. मेरा निवेदन है सर, यूनिवर्सिटी आइए और हमारे छात्रों को, हमारे बच्चों को भी इस लर्न और apart from language barrier, how can they be a better source for a person which is productive, not even just degree. So please guide us, our students onto that parameter also.
Anytime, sir. Anytime. I think मैंने सुना था आपकी presentation में कि आप case studies का method use करते हैं पढ़ाने के लिए. I think that's a very right approach to take up.
Yes, of course.
जितने scenarios cover कर सकते हैं, कितने real time उनको algos दिखा सकते हैं, हम कितनी real time problems की solution उनके साथ figure out करेंगे, वो उतने ही prepared होंगे.
Absolutely. तो सर request करूँगा, please come down to the university for a 1 day or 2 day full day workshop of your large kind of exposure, so that ये नई generation को हम कुछ वो दे पाएं जो really industry को चाहिए है. Rather कोशिश करते हैं case studies के माध्यम से, visits के माध्यम से, नए projects के माध्यम से इनको हम कुछ नया सिखा सकें. But yes, that is almost beyond curriculum. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right, thank you, sir. We have few questions with us, and out of that, I think Miss Humaira Akil, you may ask your question.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes.
So, Elvin sir, it was a very insightful session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sir, for a start, if a student wants to go for a startup, then what he should ensure? What should be his main focus?
तो मेरा चाहे आप स्टार्टअप ज्वाइन करना चाहते हो तो सबसे पहले
if a student wants to go for a startup, he
you
has
want to create your own startup. Okay.
Okay, yes, sir. So what are the things that he should focus on? Prime
I think, yeah, you need to invest a lot of time in terms of figuring out what is that unique thing that you're offering that others have not explored. But I would not discourage, even if somebody has explored, I would like you to please go all out and try that idea out. Meet out as many investors that you can, try your things, get into depth. You may have sleepless nights, you will have, endless days, but try and go all out in terms of exploring your idea, whether does it hold weightage or not. But don't get discouraged by the fact that you will not succeed. As Amulya was mentioning earlier, विराट कोहली एक दिन में कोई नहीं बनता, सचिन तेंदुलकर को साल लगे थे चाहे कितना टैलेंटेड था. सो आपको वो टाइम लगेगा. यू नीड टू ट्रस्ट योर इंस्टिंक्ट, you need to back up your idea, you need to do a lot of research before you really explore and start venturing out in terms of creating a startup for yourself, whether have somebody done that earlier or not. But yes, do keep reminding yourself, Humaira, that shortcut won't take you anywhere. मेहनत लगेगी, चाहे कितने रिसोर्सेज हो, टाइम उतना लगेगा, उसमें मेहनत से कभी शर्माने की जरूरत नहीं है.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your response.
Thank you so much, Alvin sir. It will be wonderful to have you on this platform. And thank you so much for your informative content that you have shared to our student and faculty. And we'll also connect you in some time regarding campus recruitment also. And we'll love to meet you up in your Delhi office very soon. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Vinny.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry to not give the chance to others, but we are actually running out of time. We'll give chance for you with other speakers. And our third keynote speaker is Mr. V. Sujit Kumar. He's a business head and general manager of Mercantile Information and Telecommunication Technology. He will be addressing the topic, Significance of Cloud Computing in Data Management. Mr. Sujit Kumar has a Bachelor of Technology from University of Calicut, a PGDBM from AIMACME, New Delhi, and an executive program from IIM Bangalore. He started as Senior Engineer Electrical from Grasim Industries Limited, which is part of Aditya Birla Group, and went on to become Assistant Manager Engineering at Escotel Mobile Telecommunications Limited, Manager O&M at Bharti Airtel, Senior Manager at Ericsson, Senior Project Manager at Motorola, Circle Head Director, and then Service Delivery Head Public Accounts at Huawei, and is now Business Head and General Manager of Mercantile Information and Telecommunication Technology. He's known as a very knowledgeable person with expertise in his field and excellent skills on strategic HR and business development. We are excited to hear from you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for introducing me. Is I visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You are visible.
Yeah. So first of all, let me express my profound thanks and gratitude to the management of TMU for giving me an opportunity and inviting me for this program. And I've seen the what do you call the important the campus video was really impressive, and I would like to congratulate the management of TMU for building such a magnificent institution which takes care of both curricular and extracurricular activities. So before getting into the I have a small presentation which is basically more of an academic in nature. So before sharing my presentation, I would like to mention what is that the COVID-19 pandemic has forced many organizations and businesses to transition to remote work. And this has become a new normal. My previous speakers prior to me has already mentioned about this remote working and hybrid form of working, and this has become a new normal. Now, what is happening is that the corporate, the topic of my, I'm trying to link that topic of my today's address is the significance of cloud computing in the data management. So what is happening is that the corporate data store facilities are getting increasingly accessed and updated over the internet from numerous locations. So this generally poses a security vulnerability. Employees need to work on the reports, presentation, text documents, etc. And tons of types of data is generated, and that too has to be in a secure, transparent, and manageable environment. Now, this sheer ever-increasing magnitude and size and volume of data being thus generated is making it more like a big data, where the 3 V's of out of the 4 V's of big data, that is the variety, velocity, and volume, has grown exponentially. So meaning the corporate data management is becoming a challenge for an ever-increasing magnitude. So this has forced many organizations, and they have decided to overcome this challenge using the capabilities of cloud computing. So let me put up my presentation. So let me first talk about the data management. What is data management? Data management is the process of ingesting, collecting, storing, organizing using the data created and collected by the organizations in a secure, efficient, and cost-effective manner. So this is what about data management. So traditionally, we have been using the data management in the form of centralized database architecture. We used to store and maintain the data in a fixed format or fields in a file. So now the evolution of cloud computing has come. So basically, I've given the definition of cloud computing. If you can, cloud computing is in the on-demand availability of computer resources, especially data storage and computing power without direct to active management by the user. Simply put, cloud computing is the delivery of computer services, including servers, storage, databases, networking, software, analytics, intelligence over the internet or the cloud to offer faster innovation, flexible resources, and economies of scale. Now, this talks about the evolution of computing. So right from the older days where we had these computer was invented and going forward, I've started this evolution given the schematic from the grid computing, where we used to have the parallel computing, and then you have the utility computing, then the software as a service, and where you have the, as the previous keynote speaker has mentioned, the SaaS, infrastructure as a service and platform as a service, and now getting more and more evolved to cloud computing, wherein we have the edge computing, AI, and all that's getting evolved with the multi-cloud, everything getting evolved as we progress. So what is cloud computing in data management? Cloud computing in data management is essentially a practice of storing and processing the entity's organization offsite rather than on the on-prem servers. So these grants access to purpose-built automated backup tool, professional support, and many other benefits. See, if you look at cloud computing technology is increasingly necessary and integral to the success of business in the emerging virtual scenario, as business models are getting more data-centric. And now more than in recent years, the scope of cloud data management is evolving and is acting as a bridge for organization to use data for faster innovation so that everyone in the organization can work flexibly and continue to innovate. So innovation is the key. Cloud computing platform is normally acting as a foundation for organization to improve their existing architectures and infrastructures. So basically, the cloud data management techniques and the robust data management system are accelerating the digital transformation and facilitating the virtual work environment. Basically, if you look, the COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated the digital transformation to a greater extent. And now with these cloud data management techniques and robust data management system, these are accelerating the digital transformations. Now, coming to the significance of cloud computing in data management. This is the core topic to which I was asked to speak on. So I've given 5 points, basically. One is the data management in the cloud makes sense for the companies to shift focus from their core competencies than putting efforts on managing the information stack with the professional resources and all. I'll give you a personal experience of mine sometime back in the early 2000, to be exact, in 2003, 2004, the telecom service provider at that time I was working for Bharti Airtel. So the first time the operator has decided that the network and the IT and all those aspects of the network is all supporting. So let the management concentrate on the core competency, which is the selling of the airtime, the data, and the call packages and all those things. So in that endeavor, what they did is that the first time they outsourced the entire the network and the IT to the OEM. At that point in time, I remember is Ericsson. So that's the first of its kind, the outsourcing of such a huge network has happened. So towing that line, so here the data management for an organization means giving it to the cloud as a SaaS or a PaaS or a IaaS or in that mode will help the organization to focus on their core competencies rather than managing the information stack with professional resources and spending money on it. So there is a cost saving happening on that. Then the second aspect is the cloud computing is becoming an adaptable technology for many of the organizations and enterprises. It is dynamic scalability and usage of virtualized resources as a service through the internet. Here, SaaS application PaaS and SaaS application become very, very important. Then the cloud data management is much more cost-efficient approach as compared to running an on-prem data where we have to do the maintenance, change the servers and all those things. So that itself is a cost-efficient, which I've already explained. And the fourth point is the cloud computing services giving organizations the freedom and agility to innovate by reducing the complexity of technological environment. This is a network as a service. There is very prominent here, allowing people to focus on solutions that empower the organization. Then you have the business rely on the flexibility and agility that cloud service offering provide to support data management initiatives. So next is the data management strategy in cloud computing. So I have given 3 strategies. One is the systematic approach to data security. Second is the tiers optimization. And third is the management of multi-structured data. I'll just briefly touch upon each point. When you say systematic approach to data security, you see the overcoming and preventing the security challenges should be the most important and the topmost priority of the data management system, irrespective of which organization it is undergoing. There is a need to ensure that data governance has to be standardized within the organization and all security features, cloud services need to be deployed. That's one of the prominent things in strategy of data management in cloud computing. The second one is the tiers optimization. When I say tier optimization in the first place, they need to add different tiers to the storage you need. When you say tiered storage, frequently, for example, frequently accessed data objects will be stored in high frequency pool, whereas rarely accessed objects with a high volume can be in a large capacity pool. This way, we can structure the data. And the third, finally, the management of multi-structured data. Basically, unified data management often gives flexibility to this aspect. What is the impact of cloud computing data in that data management? If you look, it is the improved productivity, better data availability, expanded automation, committed sustainability. When you look at improved productivity, means developers and business management can access data quickly and efficiently from anywhere. What this provides? This provides the employees with the capability to work on their projects without the complexities of complicated infrastructure, facilitating greater creativity and collaboration. Now, about better data availability, cloud helps employees to access the data and projects that they need when they need it, wherever they are located in the world, irrespective of that. In a world that is increasingly reliant on digital remote work, having immediate access to the data supports seamless data retrieval and sustainability across the organization. The third one is the expanded automation. Robotic process automation, of course, helps improve data integration such as collection, migration, cleansing, and extraction, which can improve cloud computing capabilities in terms of security, optimize employee talent, improve data quality, and helps to manage the overall workloads. Then the last but not the least, the committed sustainability. Organizations that are bound to setting standards reduce their carbon footprint. Recently, I came across one data which is very shocking in the sense that the spiraling of the data centers and the carbon emission on account of those across the globe has almost gone beyond the carbon emission from the aviation industry. This is very shocking. So again, while in the cloud computing or the cloud era, we need to ensure that we are committed to sustainability. Some of the key benefits of cloud-based data management is the cost optimization, improving the quality of data processing, faster data accessibility, real-time reporting, flexible upgrades, scalable storage, security, safeguarding the mission-critical assets. So this I've already mentioned in the course of my previous slides. So these are the key benefits of cloud-based data management. Then the potential risk factors in the cloud-based data management. is one is these are very important first 3 points, and of course the second and third, which is always there in terms of internet connectivity interruption and data breach issues, which we need to safeguard with all the cloud security measures and robust connectivity, or rather redundant connectivity also. Not having a corporate policy. See, centralized data management is only possible when all departments follow the same procedures regarding collection, storage, and processing of data. So it's all the more important for the organization to have a corporate policy for the data-wide, company-wide data management. Now, second is the keeping the data unstructured. So this aspect, all the benefits, the data must have a common structure to be organized. So the classification based on proper file formats and name is quite simple and helps keep the things in order. Then completion and full migration to cloud. It is not advisable to do a full migration to the cloud, primarily because some of the mission critical digital assets like domain controllers or local file servers should stay on-prem and ensure your operations are fault tolerant because of the issues that can happen, which are mentioned in the point 4 and 5, which is the internet connectivity interruption and data breach issues. Going to the next slide, the best practices of data management in cloud computing. One is to ensure robust and flexible infrastructure, choice of centralized cloud data management platform, ensure cloud data management interface, compatibility, develop a policy framework of data management, creating the framework for cloud management first. I'll just touch upon the third point, which is the ensure cloud data management interface. This is the industry standard increasing interoperability of various systems. Ensure your future tooling is CDMI compatible to ease its integration with the cloud components. Now, cloud computing and data management is the future trend. So as given to understand, this looks 2027 is going to be around 70.9 billion. I think these figures have already been revised again. The market forecast to grow these at a compounded annual growth rate of 27.6%. Towards the last summary, the organizations and business has to transition as a cloud first strategy, take advantage of its benefits with the proper strategy towards cloud data management with make little difference to your experience. And there is no any rule book or any standard rule for managing the data in the cloud. It all depends on how your organization operational maturity and current business needs. So every organization has to be managed to adopt the cloud management strategy based on their business needs and their business needs. So thank you. That's it from my side.
Thank you so much, Sujit sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
It is a pleasure and honor to have you on this platform. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Right, thank you, sir. We will now be taking questions. There are a lot of questions here. Mr. Tushar Jain, I think you can take your question. Mr. Tushar?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry,
sir,
Tushar Mehrotra, I'm really sorry. Yeah.
No problem. So I was having a question that if we are talking about the security and management of data issues, so shall we move towards more or merging something based on AI based or advanced robotics so that we can do that in a better way? Do you have any comments regarding that, sir?
Yeah, basically when I talk about the cloud security, see, AI definitely is bringing in, making a lot of contributions in that aspect. I'm not sure about the robotics part, but definitely yes, AI is aiding the I would rather put this way. You have the edge computing, the new concept which has come, which where your storage is closer to the user. So that makes the what you call where you have the poor connectivity and where you have the security issues, that will make the life much more easier. So regarding robotics, I'm not able to comment right on that. Maybe I can take that question and reply to you separately.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for such an wonderful enlightenment. And it was great to hear you speak about a topic that is really buzzing the industry right now. And we are really thankful to you for giving us an insight into the topic. Really, it's been an honor to have you. Thank you very much, Mr. Sujit. We'll connect very soon.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Our fourth keynote speaker is Ms. Meenakshi Khera. She is the General Manager HR of Predex Technology. She will be addressing the topic Talent Management Trends in Changing Business Environments. Meenakshi Khera is a seasoned HR professional, having spent over 2 decades with both multinational and Indian companies to nurture and grow winning teams at global scale across IT, education, hospitality, and health sectors. A prolific networker, she is a regular speaker in various HR forums and a panelist who loves sharing her views on the best practices about talent acquisition and management. She is a recipient of the Top 100 HR Minds and Super Achiever Award in 5th Femina Women World Leadership Congress Awards at World HRD Congress. Her love for networking has her empaneled as an active committee member of multiple management and industry associations such as NHRDN, Thrive, and many more. The words spoken for her are reliable, competent, employee-focused, and result-oriented. We are excited to hear from you, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jasmine. Am I loud and clear?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
All right. Thank you so much. And on this auspicious occasion of Mahashtami, Jai Mata Di, a very good evening to all the participants.
Jai Mata Di.
Jai Mata Di.
Jai Mata Di, ma'am. Jai Mata Di, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, Jai Mata Di. In fact, it's an auspicious occasion, and thank you, Vineet, for getting me here on this platform. My great good evening wishes to all the students who are hearing me today, and eminent industry stalwarts, management of TMU Moradabad. Thank you for for inviting me here on this conclave. And in fact, I'll be talking about the talent management trends in changing business environment. So without further delay, I want to start with the topic, and I want to leave the room to ask as many questions as you want. I'm not having any presentation. I'll be talking impromptu from my heart, and I really expect a lot of questions for students to ask me, because this is not a platform where I want to give any gyan to you, but I want that this session should be as interactive and as fruitful we expected. So what I feel basically, efficient and robust talent management is not just good for employee, but also help business to grow. In fact, organizations with efficient talent management mostly outperform. And talent management requires a very, it is a methodical and a thoughtful approach. And today I would like to highlight some of the major trends in talent management which should be considered this year post-COVID. So to begin with, the very first trend which is catching up is employee education, training, and reskilling. Yes, 1 billion of jobs, which is approximately 1/3 of the world's workforce, will be transformed by 2030 with the help of automation and artificial intelligence. And with all our previous eminent speakers, who they highlighted on the latest technologies, the latest buzzword, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and so on. And a LinkedIn survey also found companies with better training had a 53% lower attrition rate, which reduces hiring cost and improves productivity. Employees, in fact, need to learn new skills, and businesses need to stay on top of the latest technologies, which is why training and reskilling is becoming more and more vital. The second trend which is catching up is diversity, equity, and inclusion. Yes, DEI is a strategic financial advantage for business, and it is becoming a priority for people when choosing where to work. And in fact, diverse companies were 33% more likely to outperform their competitors. Yes, 33%. Then comes empathy. Empathy, again, as the word says, we should be aligning benefits with employee values, embrace flexibility, offer generous leave policies, provide training and growth opportunities, and recognize accomplishment becoming really, really important. Employee experience is another important factor. It's really important how an employee feels in a company. It starts with the recruitment touch point and continues through onboarding and ends with offboarding and exit interviews. It includes everything from personal encounters to physical spaces and workplace culture. And then employee health and well-being is again very, very important, and we have realized that in post-pandemic situation. Common workplace health and well-being benefits, including on-site gyms and subsidiaries for memberships, increased mental health coverage, and financial penalties on insurance premiums for unhealthy practices like smoking, drinking, and so on. Then comes onboarding. Yes, onboarding is another trend which is catching up. It is, we always say, first impression lasts for long. Onboarding is much more than just filling up, financial related forms, but it is a formalized process of helping new employees begin their training, setting them up with a support system, and mentor and personalizing their experience. Onboarding can include getting employees excited by sending welcome kits before even they start. In fact, a study of Glassdoor found companies with strong onboarding processes improved new hire retention by 82% and early productivity by more than 70%. So employees who have been onboarded successfully have definitely have an impact on new hire retention rate. Then is adjust employee benefits, with COVID-19 pandemic. Pandemic has really taught us flexibility, from adjustable schedules to accommodate helping children with online schools to shifting to remote working nearly overnight. Employers are finding ways to be more flexible, and employees are learning to be more efficient. In fact, 94% of employers said that productivity was even higher after switching to remote work. Yes, in fact, we have realized that because we are not spending any more time in commuting, so the productivity has really gone high while working in remote. Then, during times of economic downturn, making changes in compensation may not be possible for many organizations, but we can always be creative, in addressing employee satisfaction concerns, like we can recognize high performers, develop low cost or free employee wellness plans, focus on ways to improve employee autonomy and flexibility, and so on. Then managing a remote workforce. Working from home is here to stay for millions. Flexibility can be rewarding for both employers and employees. Starting revamping the talent management strategies, from attracting the right talent to giving recruiters the right tools to vet them, is very important. And last but not the least is internal recruiting. Internal recruiting is nothing but it's employee referral, what we've been talking about. So create a formal internal hiring program and encourage managers to inform employees about open positions that might be a good fit. Sometimes managers are reluctant to encourage their employees to leave their teams, but it's better to keep the talent in the organization than have them look elsewhere. In fact, 41% longer employees tenures at companies with high internal hiring. So I would like to end here with a powerful quote that create and nurture an environment in your organization where curiosity is encouraged and creative thinking is rewarded. Yes, curiosity is encouraged and creative thinking is rewarded, is best for any organization. So over to you, students. Please ask me questions. I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you, ma'am. We do have a couple of questions, and I would like to invite Vikram Rana sir for the question right now.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Sorry to say, but I'm not a student. I am a faculty here, and my name is Vikram Raina. I'm really blessed to hear you today. My little going through a lot of discussions at various forums, I have come to understand, and there is a question that has come on in my mind. We all talk about management of talent and how to hire, which is the best talent, etc. So, is as a HR head and somebody who's been in the thick of things, would you say that demographics plays an important role in hiring? And if it does, what is the mantra for dealing with any kind of change or any issues that might arise due to demographic hiring that one might have? And how do you place those kind of students to hire?
All right, Vikram, thank you for asking such a valid question. In fact, gone are the days when we used to talk about boundaries and demographic. In fact, especially in IT industries, I have spent almost 15 to 16 years now. And there are no more boundaries, no more demographics, which are really important nowadays. It is only what is companies are looking at is the right attitude, which our eminent, previous stalwarts also have highlighted on. Attitude plays a very, very important role. And when we say attitude, right attitude, it is not only having a right technical skills, but having, behavioral skills in place, like should be always a self-driven person. You should be yourself. That's very important, which I always tell students around, that you should be yourself. You should not showcase something which you are not. Try to be as genuine as possible, and you should have that fire in the belly, which employers always look at. You should always be a learner. In fact, you should never stop learning at any age, because age is just a barrier. It is not that after a point of time you feel that okay, education is over, up to I'll start working and I'll stop learning. But that's not a right approach. You should be passionate in learning and passionate in grooming your skills always. So that is the mantra, what I've been telling all the students. So there are no more rocket science, and these are just the buzzwords, which we've been talking about, be it artificial intelligence or automation, but the basics should be very, very clear. The conceptual knowledge is very important, because होता है ना कि foundation अगर clear है तो building बनाना बहुत आसान है. So foundation should be very, very strong, which I always tell students around. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am, for insight. I am really thankful for your deliberations on this, my, issues of demographic right approach for hirings. Yes, I understand that with the new kind of era, boundaries are not there. Demographics don't play any kind of role in hirings per se. But right talent is, and the right approach and attitude is the best one. And thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Meenakshi ma'am, for being here on my invitation. And this is again, I guess, sixth time I have invited you in my event. And you always been regular on me. And thank you for taking time, especially on this Ashtami day, where you will be definitely having a puja, and taking a time during such a busy schedule. Really wonderful having your session here and having you on this platform. Thank you so much, Meenakshi.
Thank you, Vineet, and hoping to see you in person very soon. Now the world is opening up, and I'm really delighted to see the campus of TMU, and would like to really meet the management of TMU very soon.
Yeah, yes,
Wishing
ma'am.
you all the best.
Very soon on 23rd, we will be inviting you, ma'am, and we'll definitely see you here in campus. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, our final keynote speaker is Ms. Divya Dang. She is the HR head of Cloud Analogy. She will be addressing the topic talent management trends in changing business environments. With more than 9 years of experience in working for Fortune 500 companies across different sectors, she has been successful in refining her proficiency and expertise. She is graduate in MBA with HR as a specialization and a master's degree holder in business law from the National Law School of Indian Universities. By assisting various reputed global brands and companies, she has been a strategic leader with rich experience in human resource services. She is well adept to the way organizations recruit and develop talent, ensure employee satisfaction, and invest in company culture. She is more than an effective HR leader and a people person with a unique balance of compassion, business acumen, technological know-how, and legal knowledge. Thank you, Ms. Kara, for being here with us. I'll now like to invite you for your final speech. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Jasmine,
ma'am, for being here.
Thank you so much, Vikram, for inviting me, and I thank the TMU board for having me here today. And
I'm sorry it's been too late, but we would love to hear you. And thank you for coming over.
thank you so much, Vikram, for inviting me, and I hope I'm audible to all of you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Great. And thank you so much for inviting me, Vikram. And of course, we have a very long association with you. I think for past 4-5 years since Cloud Analogy has been hiring, you have been there with us. And thank you so much for the TMU board for inviting me today. And I hope I am able to take the baton after so many experienced HRs before me. So today, I am going to talk about a very different topic and something which is actually very close to my heart. And the topic is about rebuilding organization structure from hierarchy to network. So before I start, I would like to share a presentation with you guys. I hope my screen is visible to all of you.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, so when we are talking about organization structures, I am sure people before me who have spoken have actually seen these changes happening in front of them. When we started working in the era of industrial regularization, IT coming in 1990s, we were following a very strict structure of hierarchy. And when we say hierarchy, that means there was a very strict reporting. मैं हिंदी में अगर बात करना चाहूँ तो हम वही पुराने ओल्ड स्कूल साइंटिफिक मैनेजमेंट लॉज को फॉलो करते हुए आगे बढ़ रहे थे शायद तब तक जब तक मैंने जॉब शुरू की थी. There was a time till my joining when this hierarchy structure was being followed. But when I talk about today, in today's generation, no, we are not following the same hierarchy structure because that is not the need of today. So if I talk about history, the Fortune 500 companies, जैसे Jasmine ने कहा, I've worked with different companies all across India. And the one common problem which I found was people were not willing to change. And this is one of the reasons that within a couple of years, less than 70 years of time period, the Fortune 500 companies which were there in 1995, we only have 12% of them left. And yes, I agree that they have flourished, they have grown up, but these are the companies who have adapted to the change, the changing environment of the competition as well as the changing environment of their workforce. The traditional hierarchies which we had, they did not understand a couple of things. They were not designed to pivot. They were not designed to innovate. They were not designed to react. Neither they were designed to change. And if I talk about a structure which we are following right now, especially engineering students who are going to join in IT companies and all, they would be following something which is known as agile. अगर मैं इंजीनियरिंग भाषा में बात करूं और हायरार्की और मैनेजमेंट भाषा में बात ना करूं इंजीनियरिंग स्टूडेंट्स के लिए, तो ये उस तरीके से है जैसे हम वाटर फ्रंट मॉडल फॉलो करते हैं और एजाइल मेथड फॉलो करते हैं. अर्लियर कंपनी सिर्फ वाटरफॉल मेथड यूज कर रहे होते थे कि एक ही फिक्स स्ट्रक्चर है, हमें वही फॉलो करना है. पर अब कंपनीज चेंज हो रहे हैं और बहुत एजिलिटी की तरफ जा रहे हैं. बट when we are talking about agility, the topic which I was given was network organization structure. So if I take you back to the first slide, what is the difference between the hierarchy structure and network structures? Hierarchy structure is something जिसमें आप straight देख सकते हैं that there is an hierarchy, somebody is on the top, 3 people in the middle, then you have 9 people in the bottom. एक pyramid की तरह आपको दिख रहा होगा, जिसे हम बहुत टाइम से बोले तो हम मैनेजमेंट फंक्शंस के अंदर यूज कर रहे थे that we have a pyramid to follow. But when we are talking about network structure, that means we are saying that there is no fixed pyramid. It is agile. It is dependent on the project. Your job role can be flexible. Your designation does not define what job role you want to play into. This is why most of the organizations right now are following two different hierarchy structures, and which is known as the hybrid structure. So जब हम network structures की बात करते हैं, what does network structure does not mean? जैसे उस ग्राफ में दिखाया गया था, there were different people reporting to a lot of different people at the same time, but that does not mean that we do not have a leader. It is not a leaderless team, neither it is a boundaryless organization. Boundaryless organization means that organization has a set of rules which you need to follow, even in a network organization structure. So I just told you about the traditional organization structure and new structure. So new structure में देखा जाए तो हम कह रहे हैं हम decisions fast लेंगे. If we have a new idea in place, we can take that decision at the same time. What we can do is we don't need to report to a senior. 3 people can decide and deliver a project by their own. Is that possible? The answer is no. Can we remove the hierarchy structure completely with the network structure? No, because we need both. किसी भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को स्टार्ट से एंड तक पहुंचाने के लिए, कॉमन विजन रखने के लिए एक लीडर की जरूरत होती ही है. इवन इफ अगर मैं बात करूं ऑर्गेनाइजेशन स्ट्रक्चर में, नेटवर्क ऑर्गेनाइजेशन स्ट्रक्चर की, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट पीपल व्हेन देयर इज अ सेट हायरार्की एंड देन पीपल हु आर वर्किंग विद मैट्रिक्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशन स्ट्रक्चर्स. ये मैट्रिक्स वो वाली मैट्रिक्स नहीं है जो मूवी के अंदर दिखाई थी. दिस मैट्रिक्स इज अ सिंपल मैट्रिक्स स्ट्रक्चर. So can we ever move to the network structure? The answer is yes. With the new upcoming changes which we are following right now, and with the generation Z coming in, the seniors before me were generation Y. I may be in generation Z, but the new generation which is coming in is millennials. The millennials are more complex than we ever were. That is one of the reasons that these organization structures are changing. The way they behave with the authority is different. Their own sense of responsibility is very different. What we realized it is when an individual complexity will increase to the maximum level, the sense of responsibility and accountability will increase to the maximum level, then we will be able to achieve the best civilization networked organization structure. Now the difference between this would be the span of control will not be centralized. जब मैं इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशंस की बात करती हूँ या उससे पहले के टाइम की बात करती हूँ, आप बहुत कंट्रोल स्ट्रक्चर देखोगे, पर धीरे धीरे ये चीजें चेंज हो रही हैं. देयर आर चेंजेस इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, देयर आर चेंजेस इन द पीपल. एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल अगर मैं शायद अपना ही दूं, व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड वर्किंग एंड आई हैड वेरी गुड मेंटर्स विद मी, एंड my mentor had 25-30 years of experience at that time. And when he used to see me, he used to say, why do you ask so much of questions? I never asked so many questions from my seniors. And I was like, because I'm curious, because I want to learn, because I want to achieve something before you did, and when my terms come. शायद यही चीजें जो हम आने वाले जनरेशन में आप लोगों में ढूंढते हैं. In our company, Cloudonology, we do believe in that people who are freshers have more sense of responsibility and more ideas, fresh ideas, which they can bring in the organization, and that can lead into the growth not only of organization but as a nation. So eventually, yes, we will be moving into the organizations, will have to move into this organization structure, which is network organization structure. But अगर मैं आज के सिनेरियो की बात करूं, 2022 की बात करूं, एंड शायद आने से नेक्स्ट 6 साल 7 साल तक 2030-35 तक, we would only be following the hybrid organization structure where the decentralization will happen, but it will happen at certain points. You will still have a central point of power, a central point of contact in the hybrid structure, which will basically provide the growth pattern in the upcoming years, which can lead to network civilization, which can lead to network structures. Why we are not following the network structure right now is a question which a couple of my colleagues asked me, and the answer I had for them is because we need to get matured as individuals and as an organization. The changes are coming, definitely they are coming, but this is something which is going to be gradual. There are certain companies who have experimented, and one example which I'm going to take is from Forbes. This is a study from Forbes, that there is a company called Zappos. So Zappos began to implement this holacratic structure in place of the traditional structure in 2013 itself, and which meant there were different circles who had the central of control. But within 3 years of time span, what happened was 1/5 of their employees leave the organization because they didn't find a strategical hierarchical structure. They didn't know whom to report to, they didn't know whom to learn from. This is why when we talk about the organization structure, we are saying we are changing. The chain of command is changing, but we are not quite there yet. The kind of organization structure which we are following right now, that is, network is not a replacement of hierarchy, it's an addition for it. अगर आप network को hierarchy के साथ जोड़ दोगे, you will find a better structure right now, which is more applicable in today's world. If I talk about engineers right now, this is something which we have been working on. अगर मैं अपना organization का structure देखूं, या किसी भी organization का structure देखूं, this is something which we have been following. A project has a product owner, a business analyst, a developer, a project developer, a quality insurer, a front-end developer, a video designer. But do I think any of them is reporting to each other? No, they are not reporting to each other. They are collaborative coming in one project to deliver together. So in a hierarchical structure, we have different network structures which are actually working towards delivering something. The only way is to look beyond the usual, to be efficient, and to adapt the agile method which is there. And to truly bring in this network structure, the complete network structure in the organization, we would need to think about these three things. The number one is going to be jumpstart the cultural shift. That thinking of having the control only on your hand, you have to let it go. The organizations are shifting, especially when they have young leaders at the top. Yes, they are letting it go, but there are still traditional organizations who are struggling with it, and because of which you will see a lot of iteration from one organization to other. This might also be a reason why people are more interested in startups, a middle organization or a startup organization, because they get the chance to share their ideas, to work on their ideas, which is, I think, is the need of today's generation. Then another thing is create conditions for network. Having a network organization means you need to have a complete set of processes at your back of the hand, discipline on back of the hand. Every person needs to be responsible. In people who, if we have any management student here, I think they would agree to me when we are talking about carrot and stick theory. So carrot theory means that when you are giving an incentive, the person will work. The stick theory is when a person is fearing about the reprimandations he'll get if he doesn't complete the work. That's why he will work. But the conditions for network basically says that the person is responsible by himself. He knows the difference he is making by working in a company, by working in a project, and he will take care of the work because he's a responsible human being. That's something which network believes in. So you have to create those conditions in your organization that the people feel that they are a part of this organization and they are responsible for something. And last but not the least, I think I'm repeating this point from the start, but these are the key factors. When we talk about agility and adaptability, without adaptability, without agility, we would not be able to bring in any network organization structure ever. But if we do not bring the network structure or a hybrid model in our companies in the upcoming times, we would not be able to retain the best talent which is out there. So this is it from my side, and I would like to take your questions. I know this is late and a lot of people are waiting.
Right. Thank you so much, ma'am. We do have Akash Bhatnagar sir here with us. He would like to ask you a question. Akash sir, over to you.
Hi, good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon. By just first of all, thank you very much for giving us this learning opportunity. Even to us, that most of the concepts we use are very familiar, and we try to inculcate into the curriculum of our students of management as well as technological students. My most common challenges which you are facing as of date while hiring these freshers, I just wanted to have some kinds of tips so that we can groom the students better. Most common challenges we're having for these.
See, there are two things that I would say that a person needs to really work upon. If I'm talking about management students, I do agree that people say that you should be really proud of your Hindi bhasha, Matra bhasha and communication. I agree with that. I do not disagree at all. But understand the role you are into. If you are into internal loan, then fine, because the people you will be working with are Indians only. If you are in such a role where you have to work with clients who are working outside India, they are not going to understand Hindi, right? So brush up at least basics of language when you are hired in a role of say, for example, an admin role or in a QA role, because the role is less technical and more into communication based. Second, if I'm talking about coders, if I'm talking about developers, it's always good to have communication in hand, but learn the basics. I understand that a person cannot learn Salesforce developer, Salesforce technologies in one go. In Salesforce itself, there are multiple technologies in that, so a student would not be able to learn multiple clouds of Salesforce before joining the organization. That is fine. But what what is more important is that they should know their basics. They should have command of Java. They should have command over JavaScript because those are traditional languages. सर अगर मैं बात करूं जितनी भी नई लैंग्वेजेस है, चाहे रिएक्ट है, चाहे वो जावा है, चाहे वो सेल्सफोर्स है या कोई भी और है, वो कहीं ना कहीं उठ के आती हैं आपके बेसिक लैंग्वेजेस से. प्रॉब्लम तब हो जाती है जब वो बच्चे बेसिक अपना क्लियर नहीं करते.
So by your views, fundamental things they should learn. They could focus more on adaptability and networking. And another thing which I would like to clarify, which is the most common networking or what kind of things are going on into the world in this era, in this changing time?
Sir, in this changing time, the biggest change element are the students only. If you see, there was a time period when we used to think about asking for a leave from our seniors, right? Now we have employees who come and say, "मेरी yoga class है 6 बजे, मेरे को जाना है, मैं 1 घंटे बाद join कर लूँगा." Right. So this is how the world is changing. They have to adapt to the needs of the upcoming workforce. So उसमें तो कुछ रह ही नहीं गया.
And of course, we have to allow them some kind of flexibility so that they can enjoy their work and deliver more. Work from home culture. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for enlightening us, ma'am. Over to our Associate Dean, ma'am, Dr. Manjula Jain ji. Please request you please guide us with your.
Yeah, thank you very much, Divya ma'am, for being here. I will just butt in here. I am really honored that you took out time for me at least for being here and gracing us this occasion with your thoughts and your ideas. I see a lot of work has gone in your preparation in the presentation, and really heartening to know that you have spared so much of time for us. Thank you very much. There is a small question that one of our principals of our agricultural college is asking, and which is all about the topic today, which was given to you. How can we differentiate between an academic organizational structure and industrial organizational structure? So just wanted your thoughts on that. So with this, we'll wind up.
Sir, sure. Sir, to be very honest, जो upcoming new structure है, जैसे मैं network structure या hybrid structure बोल रही हूँ, उसमें कोई बहुत ज़्यादा difference नहीं होगा. I'm sure you also have HODs. HODs have different professors and they have different projects they need to deliver on by their own. So अगर मैं देखूँ, there is a merging line in today's world. अगर मैं वर्किंग स्टाइल की भी बात करूँ तो इंडस्ट्री में लोग काम कर रहे हो और जो एफर्ट्स टीचर्स के जा रहे हैं कॉलेजेस में, आई थिंक वो बहुत ही पैरेलल, बहुत ही उतना ही टाइम, उतना ही एफर्ट शायद थोड़ा ज्यादा ही लग रहा है. सो एग्रीकल्चर में अगर मैं बात करूँ या इवन किसी भी कॉलेज के स्ट्रक्चर में बात करूँ, शायद हिरारिकल स्ट्रक्चर में डिफरेंस नहीं है, बट हाँ आपके डिलीवरेबल्स में थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस आ जाता है. हिरारिकीज तो वही रहेंगी, हिरारिकी कैसे चेंज हो सकती है. ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के स्ट्रक्चर में बस नाम डेवलपर की जगह पे असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर या प्रोफेसर आ जाता है.
जी मैम, thank you very much again. I over to Ms. Jasmine to take it forward. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was wonderful having you over here and wonderful to hear the thoughts on the changing trends in today's world. Thank you, ma'am. So we are also pleased here to be associated with such dynamic HR heads, stalwarts, as many of us have called them. They have shared a lot of knowledge. We have come towards the end of this conclave. But before we proceed further, I would now like to invite the Associate Dean Academics of our university, Dr. Manjula Jain, for her thoughts and her words. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. And I think we have our director, CTLD, who would be summing up all. And I have been asked to propose the vote of thanks. But if you want my thoughts to be put in first and foremost here, then please let me know. Otherwise, we'll go with the flow of the activities that have been stated.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Jasmine.
Yes, sir. Right, sir. So since ma'am was here and she was quite enthusiastic, it was suggested that ma'am can share her words and then we can have your summation and then vote of thanks as well, sir.
So I think Director CTLD, Krishna sir may go ahead and he can sum up. And at the end, I would take my own time and you will all have to bear with me then.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Manjula ma'am, for giving me a chance. Probably Jasmine did not want me to take that chance. However, she being an anchor, I would like to thank her for inviting me. I would also like to congratulate, first of all, to Director CRC, the team member, Mr. Akash Bhatnagar, Mr. Reena, for conducting or organizing this particular seminar in the shortest possible time and inviting so many stalwarts from the industry. I would also like to appreciate the efforts put by Ms. Jasmine Stephen, the phenomenally strong anchor, for conducting this webinar very meticulously. First of all, now I would like to tell you what was the purpose of this this particular HR Conclave. Our dynamic young registrar has very clearly brought out the purpose of this seminar, this particular conclave is to establish good academic and industry linkage. Currently, he felt it is not as strong as it should be, and therefore he expected to make this relationship very, very strong. And thereafter, the Honorable Vice Chancellor was invited, and he felt again, he had some thought that how after this pandemic, in a change scenario, how are you handling, that is the industry is handling the human resources in difficult times. He also asked that what should we do as Education Institute in the current time, and then he talked about how will they recruit HR for higher performance. That means what actually Honorable Vice Chancellor wanted, that yes, we would like to give you high performing students, but what should we do so that we can, what are your expectations so that we can give you such students? Okay, then when we talk about our speakers actually, all of them have contributed quite a lot. First of all, Mr. Mullah Shah came and he talked about the cloud and RPA. Okay, he said there is no way out. If you do not adopt cloud in the future, you are not going to survive. Okay, then he talked about various types of clouds, and he told about each cloud, what is the importance, whether public, private, hybrid, etc. I think I will not go into detail. He also talked about various software like SAS, PAS, and IS, etc. However, I would like to tell you that at the end, what he said is what is most important for us is the right attitude and right motivation. That is what his message was there. He said other things probably we can train. If a guy is trainable, his attitude or her attitude is good, we can do that. And again, after him, the next speaker was Mr. David. And Mr. David's everything actually, you can say, since his topic was future of landscape, work landscape, he has very clearly came out. He said that yes, the place is hybrid workplace. It's a gig economy. There is need to be great collaboration. He talked about creativity, empathy, collaboration, compassion, curiosity, emotional quotient, physical agility, and good communication skill he talked about. All right. And thereafter, Mr. Sujit Kumar came, and his job was to talk about cloud computing and data management. Let me tell you all of you that in today's time, Currently, $371 billion is the computing market as on date. And it has been predicted that this computing market is going to be, that is cloud computing market is going to be 832 billion by 2025. So therefore, there are huge opportunities for our students. And I think two of them talked about cloud computing. Both actually said that we have no way but to adopt these technologies. Every organization has to adopt, and therefore I would suggest that our technical, that is engineering college, must make a note of it and ensure that our students are good enough to handle the cloud technologies as far as technical skills are concerned. Okay, so I think mainly he's he was saying advantage. All of you know about those cost saving, security, and scalability, etc. when you use cloud computing. And thereafter, Miss Meenakshi Khera came, and she again talked about talent management, and she was also more of talking about empathy, diversity, equity, inclusiveness, empathy, employee experience, okay, onboarding. She gave lots of emphasis on onboarding. What we management people call onboarding is nothing but induction program where an employee feels at home, right? So that means whether it is our university or outside industry, wherever an employee joins, there must be a good onboarding, which is known as, we must ensure that he or she feels at home so that he doesn't have problem. And she also talked about flexibility, managing the work when managing the employees when they work from home, how to manage the employees are working from home. And finally, I think what Ms. Dong talked about is all organizational structure. We all know that, yes, old people used to talk about vertical structure where there were at least 10 to 12 layers, and therefore communication used to start from the top level. By the time it used to reach to the working level where it was important, it used to be completely filtered, and therefore she suggested neither the hybrid structure is going, neither the vertical structure is going to work, nor totally that network structure will not work, and we need to have the hybrid structure. And finally, I think in conclusion of this webinar or the HR Conclave, I would like to say that yes, we need to improve or develop our students in technical skills. There is no confusion whether it for whichever management or whichever college it is. But along with that, what has become more important is the 21st century skills, what we talked about just now, whether you call it emotional intelligence. HR managers who are working in industry will have to understand what is going on in the mind of the the employee. He has to read. That means first the HR managers will have to be trained what is going on in the mind of the employee, and as per that they need to ensure. And therefore I think what we are calling them emotional intelligence or stress management, empathy, sympathy, all these things will have to be developed in our students. And finally, if I think in conclusion, I would again say that it was a very well organized and very well executed HR conclave. And I think we all together have learned something from it, and our principals at their end, and we all at our respective end will ensure that our students become employable and we give them as per their expectation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was such wonderfully summarized, and all the points were aptly covered. I guess people who missed out due to some network issues would have got the whole sense of what we learned during this HR conclave. It was an amazing experience for all of us. And I would, at the end say that a heart filled with gratitude is a heart enriched with knowledge and affection. So finally, for the vote of thanks, I would like to now call Dr. Manjula Jain, Associate Dean Academics of Teerthanker Mahaveer University. Over to you, ma'am. I'm sorry, ma'am, I think your mic is on mute.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you so much, dear Jasmine. And I should say that what a fantastic and insightful day today. I would have really missed that if I wouldn't have ensured my presence here. So good evening, one and all. And it's the task has already been made easier for me through CTLD Director, sir, and Jasmine. And I should say that thank you is the best prayer anyone could say rather. And I say it a lot often. So it's my privilege that I've been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. So I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all the distinguished delegates, participants, and partakers on behalf of Teerthanker Mahaveer University, Moradabad, on the occasion of this first virtual HR conclave. And you truly blessed us with the presence, and all of you took out valuable time from your busy schedules. So at the outset, my obeisance to Ma Saraswati for showering her blessings on us in organizing this e-conclave so successfully and in a well-organized manner. And it's a glorious moment to extend my warm wishes and convey my heartfelt gratitude to our chief patrons of this conclave, our Chancellor Sir, Shri Suresh Jain ji, our Group Vice Chairman, Shri Manish Jain ji, and our esteemed member of our governing body, that is Mr. Akshat Jain ji, for their blessings and best wishes. My heartfelt thanks and immense gratitude to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Raghuveer Singh, for accepting the invitation and presiding over the conclave. Sir, I thank you so much for enlightening and encouraging us with your glorious presence and thoughtful message. You are a rare mentor, sir, a ray of hope and a true leader for all of us. We are honored and blessed to have you as our guide. So the event has not only brought together very eminent and thoughtful professionals from the industry on a single platform. They have no doubted, they have shared their opinions, life experiences, the knowledge that is pertaining to the evolution of the human resource management. And very vividly, they have explained that how we need to adapt to the rapidly changing business environment and how the organizational functioning has changed. So on that note, I would like to extend my special thanks to Mr. Amulya Saha, CHRO of Team Computers, for starting the conclave on a very high note, inspiring us with very lively presence and wonderful inputs in a layman's language. And we could understand that the cloud is here and it is already transforming how many companies are now operating. And the way he presented the things, it could make us to understand that businesses may be reluctant, to change up the existing operations. But the benefit of the cloud means the transition that is worth it. So it not only changes how these many businesses store and access the data, but he could also make us to understand that it is also changing how many of these businesses operate. So the way that you explained with your shairi, the crispiness, the vividity that we could have, that was exemplary, sir. Thank you for being here and making us, hear you and have the experience. Thank you so much. My gratitude goes to Mr. Alvin David, who's GM HRD of Newgen Software Technologies Limited. He shared his experience, how in the disruptive time, we can have the future of work landscape. And he could also deliberate upon the job roles which the future holds for our young and budding people, students here. So they can be fitting in many roles, but how they need to adapt themselves. The deliberations were quite insightful and informative. Thank you for being here, sir. And I also extend my gratitude to Mr. Sujit Kumarji, who is business head and GM of Mercantile Limited. And the Mercantile Information and Telecommunication Technology Limited. And he could provide his valuable insights on cloud computing. And he could make our learners understand that it's not just a trendy application that people can use to store their photos or videos online, but it's a part of a business model that is taking the world by storm. Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us and making us to understand that, yes, we cannot go away with this technology, and we have to adapt our ways and means in order to make it a part of our life. And I'm very grateful to Ms. Meenakshi Kheda ji, who is GMHR Credex Technology. She could educate us on how companies are identifying and developing their employers in the core competencies and the core capabilities, including the cognitive skills, the digital literacy, the learning agility, the emotional intelligence to manage the change. And ma'am, really, we know that how COVID has accelerated the change of hybrid work. So we totally agree with you that yes, talent analytics will play a larger role. And thank you for enlightening our students and the participants on that. In such a simple and yes, very interesting manner. And I heartily thank our very young, HR professional, Ms. Divya Dang, who is heading the cloud analogy. And she could emphasize upon the established fact that yes, hierarchical organizations and silo teams, they cannot have a good productivity and growth. So what calls in for future times is designing an agile and networked organizational structure. So that was really very much informative for all of us. And I must mention that Mr. Nehra has done a wonderful job. And I must mention my deep sense of appreciation for our young, energetic and dynamic director, CRC, Vineet ji, and your team, Mr. Akash Bhatnagar ji, Mr. Vikram Rena ji, for the commendable work in organizing this EHR conclave. And I think that this initiative could provide us with that opportune moment wherein we could refurbish and deliberate upon the challenges which are being faced due to this rapidly changing business environment. And our keynote speakers made it very easy for us to understand. I also thank our key academic and administrative officials, including registrar, principals, HOD, faculties, and all the participants for their active participation in great numbers in this event. And my special thanks and gratitude to our very dynamic director, CTLD, Dr. R.N. Krishna ji, who summed up the event so meticulously, and he couldn't miss any detail. And the presentation of the whole summary was very sublime, very lucidly presented, very subtly presented, and he gave us the whole gist of the conclave. Anyone who could have missed the conclave could have get the standing with the details that he could mention in his summary. Thank you so much, sir, for being a great help to us. And yes, I cannot miss a very special thanks and appreciation to our master of ceremony, Ms. Jasmine Stephens, for her wonderful efforts towards anchoring the event in such an elegant and impeccable manner. The event, had a natural flow which added curiosity and value to it, and it was well organized, well deliberated, well moderated. Thank you, Jasmine, for giving value and meaning to this conclave. And as we all know that no program can become successful without the people who work backstage. And I extend a very big thanks to our technical team for their support and for the seamless efforts in organizing this event so successfully and giving an excellent coverage too. So thank you, digital team, for making this event successful with your contribution. And I thank all who helped either directly or indirectly who have made it to this conclave to make it so successful. And it's my strong conviction that this EHR conclave would surely meet its intended outcomes of creating an integrated industry academia ecosystem, and would formulate a strategic regulatory framework towards developing not only the employable but also deployable human resources, as our punchline said. So the deliberations enlightened all of us present here, and we look eagerly forward to have the physical presence of all our esteemed keynote speakers at TMU. So with this, thank you so much, and Jai Hind to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you one and all for being a part of this momentous day. I wish all of us have a great and energetic life and have a good day. This is Jasmine Stephen saying goodbye on behalf of Teerthanker Mahaveer University. Over to you, Vineet Nehra sir, Director CRC.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for putting so much energetic speech out here. And it was really wonderful listening you up at the end. Some people might be feeling little sleepy during the last session because it's been a long, we have planned 2 hours time, but it was taken somewhat 3 hours time. So I am sure all the people get freshen up with your speech and your words, valuable words. And in the last, I would like to thank my team also for supporting me out here in executing this conclave. And let's end up with this national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता
Chalo, okay, Vineet, can we leave the meeting?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you so much all. And let's end up this session out here.
No, thank you. We are a team, no problem. We are one team.
Yes, sir.